subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
He didn't gain much this month. On the contrary, there are a lot of people from Konoha. The third generation has gained a lot, received a lot of insults. Anyway, the position of third generation is now in jeopardy. Now that the third generation has appeared in Konoha, the welcome and smiles from the villagers are no longer heard. Instead, it was panic, which was already comparable to Naruto back then. This has to be said, definitely has the credit of Naruto. I just don't know how far to reach the completion of the crayfish. Anyway, this is also a task, and the third Chunin exam starts tomorrow. Naruto is ready for everything. Sasuke heard that he has been under Kakashi's training now. I don't know if Sasuke, who appeared again, has the courage to challenge himself. Naruto also began to think about what happened next. Where should I go after the Chunin exam? There is indeed nothing wrong with what Jiraiya said. Wanting to be Hokage age is really a flaw. Is it really possible to be like Gaara? Became Hokage at the age of 16. It's a little late. But 3 years later, it seems to be the beginning of Shippuden. Naruto can't wait to meet Zio Shinshuin. Night 2 destroyed today's information. Then he sat on the head of the bed with complicated eyes. Is third Hokage's reputation so bad? What's going on with Konoha? The changes in these days almost stunned the old Konoha spy. The news of Danzo's death didn't make any waves in Konoha, and Danzo's blame for these years has also slowly turned to third generation. For example, Danzo arranged for spies to lurk in various ninja villages. Now it's third generation arranging spies to lurk. If it wasn't for Do being an experienced person, he would have almost believed it. It is unanimously suspected that this was done by Naruto. But because Naruto didn't come to him recently, he didn't have the right opportunity to meet Naruto. Can only rely on inner guesses. But I have to say that working under Naruto is the most comfortable thing for him. You can do whatever you want, not as much as an Orochimaru. Just when you are immersed in the beauty, suddenly a little white snake crawled out of the window. Like a human being, he stared at the bag tightly. Then highlight the snake letter. His heart tightened, but thinking about the matter between himself and Naruto, Orochimaru probably didn't know. The expression on his face didn't change. Instead, he got up and followed the little white snake to the training ground where the sun is quiet. And in the center of the training ground, a figure has been waiting for a long time. Master Orochimaru, you have finally appeared again, Do said in a slightly excited voice. It seems that he is also happy for Orochimaru's return. Do, I'm afraid you never thought that there would be a terrifying monster in the ninja school. Orochimaru talked to himself. Naruto's face flashed in his eyes. The body trembled unconsciously. This is the ultimate fear. Uncle Snake was a little scared. Monster, Do muttered to himself. Then came to mind also Naruto. Orochimaru said that the monsters that appeared in the ninja school. In Do's mind, he couldn't think of anyone else except Naruto. Anyway, be careful of that blonde brat. Orochimaru shook his head, not thinking about Naruto anymore. The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. And Do is still a little moved now. Orochimaru-sama is actually not bad, and actually warned him. But I'm afraid Master Orochimaru never thought that he has followed Master Naruto now. Master Orochimaru, will the blonde kid you mentioned affect our plan? Do's tone showed some worry. These are all meant to be shown to Orochimaru. Probably not. Maybe that kid's purpose is the same as ours. Orochimaru glanced away. Then he sighed inwardly. Mr. Sarutobi, the wind is a bit strong this time. Can you take it? I see. When is Orochimaru-sama going to do it? Do asked curiously. If there is no accident, it will be at the end of the Chunin exam. If there is an accident, I will let you play by ear. Orochimaru said cleanly. I see. Do nodded. Well, Kimimaro has been working hard these days. Playing Kazekage in front of the teacher must be very hard. Orochimaru's somewhat profundity. His body, Do is a little worried. Don't worry about it. He is still a very useful tool. Orochimaru sneered. Did Zhao. Then under Do's watchful eyes. The shadow turned into a snake and disappeared directly. The moonlight shone on Do's eyes. I don't know what the bag is thinking. A new day. Naruto opened his blue eyes. Tidy up. Went directly to the place where the Chunin exam was held. The last exam. It's coming, and most importantly, the stage that Naruto has been looking forward to for a long time. It will also unfold in the next few days. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Villagers of Konoha. Get ready for the monsters to come. The third test is to play against each other by drawing lots. If Naruto remembers correctly, this time the battle should have Neji and Hinata fighting. I have to find a way to open a small fire for Hinata. What should we do? Naruto rubbed his chin. Then, unconsciously, his eyes turned to the template of Nyang Baltan. Little lobster, let's discuss it. First give me the template of Mrs. Baltan. Naruto said with a smile on his heart. I refuse. This system will never do anything that violates Baltan's principle of integrity. The voice of the crayfish is powerful and firm. If this is the case, then I can only give up. Naruto's voice is leisurely. Chapter 83. Mother Baltan finally, under Naruto's persuasion, threat. Crayfish still agreed to give Naruto the template of Baltan Yang in advance. It can only be said that Yakushi Kabuto is too important for Crayfish. There is the bad character of Host. Really count on him to revive Baltan. That has to wait until the year of the monkey. You have to rely on General Do. As for the conditions for Baltan Yang to obtain, get Hinata and Hanabi. Hinata can be considered. Hanabi Naruto is hard to do, but Boruto's past can be considered. It seems that it suits Suki Fisherman will come in a while. Will he travel through the past, right? It seems that they deliberately traveled to before Shippuden to obtain Nine Tails. Naruto is looking forward to the arrival of this product now. It would be even better to bring Hanabi with me when the time comes. Speaking of which, when the Chunin exam is over, could it be that Sasuke from Boruto and his cheating son are coming? I don't know whether the future here is the future I experienced or the future experienced by Naruto in the original book. And while Naruto was thinking wildly, Kakashi brought Sasuke and little Sakura came. The 7th class rendezvous. Kakashi brought the three of them to a huge ring. In the auditorium of the arena, there are already many villagers waiting, including some nobles from the Kingdom of Fire. Still on top, 3rd generation wearing red Hokage robes, and 4th Kazekage in the blue wind shadow robe. That is Orochimaru. Judging by the expressions on both of them now, they're having a friendly conversation. What an enviable master-student relationship. The 3rd generation is doing the will of fire. Most of the people watched in boredom. Even everyone snorted and almost fell asleep. But yeah, a passionate young man was in high spirits. It looks like another boy who was chosen by the consciousness of fire. Should I say it or not? No matter what you do, the brainwashers of the 3rd generation are pretty good at it. It's hard to wait until the end of 3rd generation's Force Lai. Moonlight Gale, the protagonist of Gale Legend, finally appeared, standing sickly in the middle of the ring. Before he could say anything, he coughed a few times. First of all, before the official start of the 3rd match, ask if anyone wants to quit. Moonlight Gale, coughing while covering his mouth while talking. How could this examiner ask such a question? How could someone quit after finally getting to this point? Little Sakura asked, a little puzzled. She couldn't figure out, after all the hard work to come to this step, which fool would quit. I abstain. Here comes the idiot. Little Sakura immediately looked over. Then the expression on his face immediately became shocked. What she thought was a fool turned out to be the smart and knowledgeable senior Do. In the heart of little Sakura has always been that kind of very smart person, especially when meeting for the first time. He has a gentle attitude towards his juniors, and he wears glasses. There's an 80% chance of being a top student. Moreover, he failed the exam several times. Shouldn't this opportunity be cherished even more now? Why would you abstain? Can't figure it out. CBBH. Little Sakura didn't understand. So, she came directly to Do and asked, why do you choose to abstain, Senior Do? Don't you want to pass the Chunin exam? The little Sakura couldn't bear the doubts in her heart and hurriedly asked the bag. Although I really want to, I have a clear understanding of my strength, and during the 2nd exam, I was injured physically and I haven't recovered yet. Do properly showed a bitter smile. Words are full of unwillingness. Yakushi Kabuto, right? Let me see. Have you failed the Chunin exam 4 times? Since you abstained, then this exam is also a failure. Moonlight Gale said cleanly. Thanks. Do immediately thanked Moonlight Gale. Then he took the position of eliminating students. Then, the first round of the next assessment, the red copper armor of Uchiha Sasuke's Inin village in Konoha. Moonlight Gale looked at the list in his hand and announced directly. And as soon as his voice fell, the atmosphere in the auditorium instantly became lively. Most of the people who come here to watch come for Uchiha Sasuke. After all, with the disappearance of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Sasuke is the last of Uchiha. They all want to see how the last, only seedling of the Uchiha clan is doing now. After all, they can't find Itachi. Let Itachi perform Uchiha stunts for them. Then Itachi will let them know what a Materas is. And with the announcement of the list, a soiled hedgehog head jumped out from the auditorium. In contrast is the proud Uchiha Sasuke. I have to say, just a comparison of this appearance. Uchiha Sasuke killed the red copper armor directly, but ninja fighting is not based on appearance. Following the moonlight, Gale gave an order. The battle between the two began immediately, and Naruto glanced at it, then turned and left. Hey, Naruto-kun, where are you going? Little Sakura asked with a puzzled look. Now is the time for their teammates to fight. So Naruto doesn't care about Sasuke's fight at all? Of course Naruto didn't care. If Sasuke lost to the red copper armor, that would be almost suicide. Kakashi just glanced at it calmly, then looked away again. The exposed one, eye immediately narrowed, extremely obscene. He had already seen the direction Naruto was leaving. Keep looking in the direction Naruto left. You could see a white eye on the railing of the auditorium. Little girl. TSK, TSK, TSK. So where does Naruto go? Youth Naruto is indeed going to find Hinata at this moment. After all, it will be the day when Hinata and Neji will fight. It's time to give my own plug-in to little Hinata. Mother Baltan is still at the D level. It's a little exciting. Hey little guy, what are you doing in the 8th class? Red saw Naruto walking towards this side with a smile on his face. Hi teacher Hong. I'm here to find Hinata something. Naruto chuckled. He greeted Hong very politely. No, Hinata is waiting for you there. Yua Hong pursed her lips, pointing to Hinata at the railing. Hinata has long noticed Naruto's arrival. After all, her eyes had been on Naruto from beginning to end. Goodbye, teacher Hong. Naruto said goodbye to Kurenai Yuhi very politely. Then he walked towards Hinata in a hurry. There was a trace of regret in my heart. Red. Pity. Konoha's ultimate royal sister. It's a pity that I ended up becoming Asuma's bearded wife. It can only be said that licking a dog can still lick a goddess. I just don't know if it was cut off by Sure Sui. After all, Hong's daughter really looks like Zhang Shui. The most important thing is that he is also very good at illusion and body flicker technique. The name is called Sarutobi Future. Toot toot. When Sure Sui died, it seemed that Itachi helped him take care of Konoha's future. Could it be the future of Sarutobi? A playful smile appeared on Naruto's mouth. And at this moment, he has come to Hinata's side. Hinata, did you miss me? Naruto squeezed Hinata's face neatly, then suddenly felt a murderous aura. Follow the murderous look. Directly above, a middle-aged man with white eyes was looking at him angrily. Naruto's face froze. What is this? Was seen by the old man on the spot. Do is dead. But how thick-skinned Naruto is. It's like I didn't see it at a glance. And sweet talk with Hinata intimately again. Watching Hyuga Hayashi grit his teeth. Hinata, come with me. I have a surprise for you. Naruto said, pulling Hinata's person. Go straight to the back door. Hinata blushed at this moment and was completely at a loss. Just like a doll. As for Hyuga Hayashi upstairs, the armrests on the chairs were scratched by him. What is this kid F? Where is he taking his daughter? Just when Hayashi was furious and could not hold back, a voice suddenly came from his side. Hyuga Patriarch, what do you think of Uchiha's last, only seedling performance? Does it have the demeanor of the Uchiha clan back then? Huh, there's a fart. Hyuga Hayashi didn't watch it at all. How could he be in the mood to watch it now? Direct conditioned reflex made his swearing, venting his inner anger. After reacting, he quickly looked at the person who just asked him. Over, The face of the Hyuga clan was lost by me. Chapter 84. Baltan's mother Hinata the Isle of the Stairs. Naruto and Hinata were looking at each other. Unlike Naruto's burning gaze, Hinata looked at Naruto shyly. I feel a little embarrassed. But Hinata still asked Naruto, Naruto-kun, why did you call me out? Hinata asked Naruto with a blushing face. Of course, there is something very important. Naruto looked at Hinata's apple-like face, couldn't help but step forward and took a sip, then smiled and raised a pink light cluster. There is a humanoid object in the light group. This thing is the template of Baltan Yang. Cost template. Who can refuse? Hinata, the next battle may be dangerous. I am worried that your strength is not enough, so I brought you a new strength. Saying that, Naruto handed the ball of light in his hand to Hinata. Hinata had no doubts either. He reached out to pick it up suspiciously. The ball of light fell into Hinata's hands. It's like melting into the water. Gradually, a pink light appeared in Hinata's hand. The light was so dazzling that Naruto couldn't help closing his eyes. But the blinding light only lasted for a while. Shown in front of Naruto again. It's a little girl with blue hair. Baltan's miniature headdress is like a headband. The skirt has also become a small skirt. The only constant may be the two lobster claws, but overall it looks cuter. Coupled with Hinata's already broad mind, Naruto was a little dumbfounded. Baltan girl's cuteness plus Hinata's broad mind. The combination of the two is not 1 + 1 = 2. It is absolutely greater than 2. Anyway, Naruto couldn't stand it anymore. Touch your nose. Is there a red liquid coming out? This is really exciting. Naruto-kun, I seem to have mastered a special kind of calendar. Hinata stammered. Then he raised his palm. The original pliers degenerated into white and tender hands. A pink ball appeared on the palm of the hand. Naruto narrowed his eyes. This is exactly the destructive light bullet mastered by the Baltans. But why are Hinata's pink? There's still many surprises in this power. Hinata, you have to practice hard and hope that you can protect yourself well in the future. Naruto believes, as long as Hinata can properly grasp the power of Baltan, maybe when pain invades in the future, it won't be as miserable as in the original book. I listened to Naruto-kun. Hinata nodded firmly. It was as if when Naruto gave her the power of Baltan, she took it without hesitation. In Hinata's heart, always trust Naruto. The two stayed together for a short while. In the end, Naruto sent Hinata back to the side of the ring. Naruto, you really are. You just forgot about me when you wrote it. And you only have Hinata in your eyes, right? Just when Naruto was about to go back, he said unwillingly, how could it be? The next one might be a battle between the two of us. I want to talk to you more on the field. Naruto narrowed his eyes, full of smiles. If I remember correctly, Naruto did have a war with Kiba, then win with a fart. But Naruto is different now. He didn't bother to use such a shameful method of victory. Go directly to the front. To fight with you, the bones in your body are harder than the ones you gnawed. It's really annoying to fight with you, guy. Fong rubbed his head in pain. Don't admit defeat, Tooth. I have great confidence in you. At this time, Yuahong walked to Ya's side and said with a smile on her face, Yoshi, Naruto, let me show you how I've changed over the past month or so. As soon as the big beauty of being red encouraged her teeth, she soon became full of energy. Don't be so excited. What Naruto said is just a feeling. The real situation has not happened yet. Shino, who had never had a sense of presence, said silently at this time, but still no response. Can only silently go to the side, secretly sad. After saying goodbye to Class 8, Naruto immediately returned to the area where Squad 7 was. Kakashi greeted Naruto leisurely. You came back so quickly. It seems that your youth is not long. Kakashi raised the little yellow book in his hand and said to Naruto, compare to me, Kakashi-sensei, please think about yourself. The black line in Naruto's head. How could this bachelor have the nerve to talk to him? Kakashi smiled. Do you still dare to let important people appear by your side? Dare not. At the same time, the current venue. Naruto has already come back from a stroll, and the battle between Sasuke and the red copper armor is not over yet. But Sasuke has discovered the red copper armor's ninjutsu. Under these eyes, I've already discovered your flaw. Sasuke looked at the red copper armor confidently. He looked closely at the thing like a launcher on the wrist of the red copper armor. So what if you find out? Don't underestimate me just because we are Ninja Village. The face of the red copper armor is full of ferocity. Let you see the power that can crush even rocks. However, the words of the red copper armor just fell. Sasuke was already on his face. Ninja marks are still in hand. Fire style. Great fireball technique. A hot ball of fire spit out from Sasuke's mouth. Great fireball technique, worthy of being a technique for not hitting people. Although Sasuke has already protruded. However, the red copper armor responded quickly. A direct retreat. Directly dodged this face-to-face great fireball. However, in a blink of an eye, Sasuke has already come behind the red copper armor. With one shot, the lion fired repeatedly, kicking it into the air. Then he slashed down hard. He kicked directly on the red copper armor's stomach. And on the ground of the venue, there is a huge human-shaped pit. Moonlight Gale came to Sasuke in an instant and immediately raised Sasuke's arm. Uchiha Sasuke victory! Naruto shook his head in the final analysis. If it weren't for this so-called red copper armor full of nonsense, it's not as bad as losing. Sasuke's pocket protruded into your face, and you were still squirming. Even rocks can penetrate. You were a hair. However, the current Sasuke does not have the power limit of the seal. It also showed his true strength. But if you open a Sharingan to beat a small scumbag, there's no need for it. Although the process was tortuous, at any rate, we won in the end. It should be said that Sasuke's performance is really shocking. Whether it's the power of ninjutsu or dripping taijutsu, directly let most of the people on the field remember it in their hearts. The abilities of the Uchiha clan have been fully demonstrated by Sasuke, whether it's the opponent or the Jonin's. They are very wary of Sasuke. Pray that the next battle will not be encountered. And the second match was the second small cannon fodder for the non-existent Shino and Odenin. Sack, asking for flowers. Naturally, there is no suspense in this game. Shino directly plugged the catheter on Sack's wrist with his worm. Directly won this game. And the following one. It's what Naruto said earlier about his own fight with Kiba. What about this battle? Anyway, Moonlight Gale, simply described as a swish and it's over. He himself didn't see Naruto's speed clearly. Just started. It was found that the tooth had appeared outside the venue. This directly can't fix Moonlight Gale. The scene became quiet for the first time. Naruto's fight was even more surprising than Sasuke's. At least they could see Sasuke's battle clearly. But Naruto's fight, it was literally over in the blink of an eye. Hee, third Hokage, it seems that you Konoha are really talented. This kid, I'm afraid it's your industry's trump card. Orochimaru asked the third generation wearing the Kazekage hat. He really wanted to hear what his teacher thought of Naruto. Naruto's strength is really good. Third generation's teeth were almost broken. Strength is good, but it is useless to oneself. Naruto's heart has changed. Danzo also died. What the hell is that monster? Forget it. You shouldn't think about that monster now. But what on earth should Naruto do? You can get rid of Konoha, but you have to keep 9 tails. But for now, third generation did not dare to push too hard. Naruto's strength had already been shown to him once. If it's really tight, Naruto unleashes that black ninjutsu among Konoha. I'm afraid there is no way to resist it. Curious how the third Hokage was developed? Orochimaru said in a cold voice. The sound cold is cold to Naruto. He gritted his teeth when he saw Naruto. He is also very angry with Naruto. It was because of Naruto that his injury dragged on for so long. It has not recovered until now. How to cultivate? This is what the third generation said. Typed and scolded? If you really want to tell the truth, you must not be called crazy. So the third generation just smiled and didn't say anything. He couldn't tell. The next match will be Hyuga and Hyuga Hinata. Others may not respond. But those who knew him couldn't help but stop and exclaimed. Especially Guy. He is very familiar with both of them. One is my own student. The other is Naruto's little girlfriend. On top of that, Neji also hates the Hyuga family. Hinata, this time your opponent is a bit unusual. If you're not sure of winning, just admit defeat. Kurenai Yuhi, said to Hinata seriously. Being a Jnin, or being a Jnin as you know him. Of course she knows what Niji's strength is. The most critical thing is his understanding of the Hyuga family, the branch house and main family of the Hyuga family. And Niji hated the Zongjia very much because of some things. She was a little worried that Niji was going to hit Hinata hard. And Hinata's character, as Hinata's teacher, how could he not know it? These two are going to fight. Kurenai Yuhi couldn't think of any chance for Hinata to win. That's right, Hinata. If it doesn't work, just admit defeat. Kiba also looked at Hinata worriedly. No, I won't admit defeat. Hinata clenched her fist firmly, bearing the new power given to him by Naruto-kun. She won't throw in a towel. Chapter 85. Hinata's kill on the field. Niji and Hinata are looking at each other. Miss of the Zone family, let me see your strength. Niji snorted coldly and immediately assumed a standard fighting posture. Then he looked at Hinata with a cold face. Niji is naturally very familiar with his opponent Hyuga Hinata. After all, in name, he is still Hinata's big brother. And he hated the Zone family very much because of his father since he was a child. Why? Why is the birth just a few minutes late? And the treatment is very different. Why does the branch house protect the family? Can't you protect yourself without hands? Faced with this predetermined fate, Niji is not reconciled. But the mark on his forehead seemed to remind him all the time. There was a surge of anger in his heart, and Niji wanted to vent it. And Hinata, in front of him, happened to be the object he wanted to vent. Niji is already very familiar with this so-called eldest lady. Hinata's soft to ultimate character. There is no such thing as a 4-5-7 fighting ninja at all. Miss of the Zone family, if you don't enjoy your life as a young lady, why do you want to become a ninja? Niji looked directly at Hinata coldly. To protect the people I want to protect. Hinata clenched her fists. She didn't want to go through what happened when she was a child again. It's so hard to be called a white-eyed monster. As for Naruto, he has been called a monster since he was a child. Hinata looked very heartbroken. She wants to protect Naruto. Protection, what a ridiculous and sad word. You have a cold face, suddenly became a little fierce. His father died to protect the so-called patriarch, and his fate is also to protect these damn clans. He hates those two words. Both parties raised their hands almost at the same time. Put on a gentle fist pose, and the meridians near the eyes exploded immediately. Ah, really, it's a headache. Kakashi rubbed his head helplessly. Anything to say? Mr. Kakashi, little Sakura asked with a puzzled look. As a veritable civilian, little Sakura is really confused about some of the sayings and rules of the big family. The Hyuga family is divided into the main family and the branch house. The main family is the guide, and the branch house is the protector. Since ancient times, all branch houses have been engraved with a mark called cage bird on their foreheads to protect and accept the control of the clan forcibly. So since ancient times, the branch house has always been very dissatisfied with the Zone family. Now that Niji and Hinata are fighting, Hinata is in danger. Kakashi said helplessly. So, it's a fateful matchup. Naruto folded his arms and looked down. Aren't you worried about Hinata, Naruto? Little Sakura looked at Naruto curiously. If she remembers correctly, Hinata seems to have an unusual relationship with Naruto. Naruto seems to be indifferent to Hinata now. I trust Hinata. Naruto smiled confidently, although Hinata has only just merged the Baltan template. But there is no problem with Baltan's template for a small Chunin exam. Little Sakura heard what Naruto said, and when she treated Hinata, his eyes were full of envy. If only Sasuke could treat her like this. Miss Hinata, your character is not suitable for fighting, so admit defeat as soon as possible. You can't change the final result of this battle at all. Niji said me and put on a fighting pose directly, then quickly ran towards Hinata. Just like the branch house can never resist the clan. This is a doomed result and cannot be changed. 8 trigrams, 16 palms. Hinata quickly started gesturing, displaying the ancestral tenderness of a Hyuga family. The arm turns quickly, and Niji is not to be outdone. Every attack of Hinata was precisely blocked by him. The offensive between the two. Hinata actually looked actually seemed to have the upper hand, too. However, at this moment, Hinata's 8 trigrams 16 palms is over. What ushered in was Niji's 8 trigrams 32 palm. Every acupuncture point on Hinata's body was sealed with precision by Niji. Chakra inside the body cannot rotate at all. Finally, under Niji's palm, Hinata's body took several steps back. Admit defeat. The chance of you winning the battle with me is 0. Hinata looked at Hyuga Niji coldly. Visible to the naked eye, blood appeared from the corner of Hinata's mouth. Gasping, it looked very embarrassed. Although Naruto already knew the ending, he couldn't help but feel a little worried when he saw this scene. Knowing the ending is one thing, but watching the ending still feels uncomfortable. Naruto, Hinata's chances of victory look slim. Sasuke calmly analyzed. I still say that I believe in Hinata. The expression on Naruto's face didn't move in the slightest. He believed in Hinata. Teacher Hong, how happy you are. You looked at Chu Tian, who was covered with bruises on the field, with worry flashing in her eyes. Tooth, this is his own choice. Hinata hasn't conceded yet. You should choose to believe her. Even though Kurenai Yuhi feels sorry for Hinata now. But look at the firm look in Hinata's eyes. Kurenai Yuhi wanted to help Hyuga Niji admit defeat, but she didn't say anything. Come on, Hinata, Naruto whispered, and Hyuga Niji seemed to feel Naruto's gaze. The bent waist suddenly straightened up. He looked at Hinata with firm eyes. Are you still not giving up? Hinata clenched her fists. Then he walked towards Hyuga Niji step by step. Just to admit defeat like this. How can I be worthy of the strength Naruto-kun gave me? Hyuga Niji let out a loud shout. Then open your hands directly. There was a scorching light in the chest. Launched directly at Hinata. Hinata's expression changed drastically. The body rotates rapidly. It directly turned into a rotating blue semi-ellipse. Revolving heaven. Hyuga Hayashi above, eyes awestruck. How could he not have thought that Niji would have learned this trick? This is the exclusive skill of the clan. But what made Hayashi even more curious? The skill that Hinata used just now. What's the thing with the light coming out of the chest? Does their gentle fist still have this trick? So at the moment, Hayashi is confused. He was astounded by the skills both of them displayed. And Naruto just smiled. He can naturally see what is the skill that Hyuga Niji is using. Naturally, it is a skill mastered by the Baltan stars. Destroy light. It can be said to be a very powerful move. But at this moment, it is hindered by the strength of Hyuga Niji. He didn't even display his full strength. But against a tiny Hyuga Niji, it's enough. That's right, revolving heaven, which claims to be indestructible and defensive. Under a shot of destructive rays. Broken. Niji's body is the same as being hit by a car in 4.1. The body flies backwards in midair. It hit the wall of the field directly. The sudden change directly surprised everyone. Obviously weak Hyuga Niji, but unexpectedly under the outbreak. Will always be strong, and Hinata was blown away. And seeing that the injuries on Hinata's body are obviously serious, there is no possibility of fighting anymore. In other words, Hinata was knocked out of combat power with one blow from Hyuga Niji. This battle was won by Hyuga Niji. Hyuga Niji, after the victory, he turned his head directly to the auditorium, showing a miserable smile, then fainted directly. Naruto knew that this smile was for himself. People from the Konoha medical room rushed into the scene and carried the 2 injured people into the hospital. Naruto didn't watch the next battle. Anyway, I have already passed the next round. His task now is to fool Niji and heal Hinata. Chapter 85, Accept Niji in the Konoha medical room. Naruto just came to the door. The door opened. Then a middle-aged man walked out of it with a nonchalant white eye. Next to him was a little girl in a black judo uniform. The little girl's eyes were full of curiosity, looking Naruto up and down. It is Hinata's father and sister, Hyuga Hayashi and Hyuga Hanabi. Snort. Hayashi gave Naruto a cold look, then snorted coldly, stepped over Naruto, and left. Leave Naruto with a puzzled face. That's how I met my husband for the first time. It was really beyond Naruto's expectation. Forget Hayashi with the back of your head. Naruto pushed open the door directly, then looked to Niji and Hinata. Naruto-kun, Uzumaki Naruto, what are you doing here? Two very different tones. I'm coming to see my wife. Naruto gave Neji a blank look, then walked towards Hinata, touched the injured part of Hinata. A green light appeared in Naruto's hand. Level A healing jutsu. Healing jutsu. You know how to do this. Neji looked at Naruto with some surprise. What I know is beyond your imagination. How about it? Do you want to work under my command? Naruto asked casually. Oomph. You let me be your subordinate. Neji snorted coldly. How is this possible? Not to mention that he is older than Naruto. Let him serve as a subordinate to someone younger than himself. Unexpectedly, it is impossible for him to die and jump from the hospital. 21. Although his teacher has always boasted that Naruto is very powerful. But sorry, he didn't experience it himself. It doesn't work to say it, and it doesn't work to see it. If he is not convinced, he will not recognize it. Do you know why Hinata became so strong? Naruto asked abruptly. Then he took his hands off Hinata's body and turned to look at Neji seriously. What do you mean by that? Neji jerked and straightened up. Losing to Hinata was the last thing on his mind, especially the weird skill that Hinata used to defeat him at the end. He originally thought it was a hidden skill in Gentle Fist, which his branch house couldn't learn. But just now Hyuga Hayashi came over and said he didn't know. So Neji was even more curious. What is the ninjutsu that defeated him in this round? And listen to what Naruto said. This power seems to be given to Hinata by him. The meaning is very simple. I will give you chips, and you will do things for me. Naruto shrugged. As for the letter Hayashi sent you just now, you should have read it. So now it's up to you how to choose. After Naruto finished speaking, Chongqing looked at Hinata. At this moment, Hinata's eyes were full of worry. For some reason, he felt that the atmosphere between Naruto and Neji was weird. She was not used to this weird atmosphere. It's fine. Naruto reached out and touched Hinata's head, comforting. Why choose me? I'm just a waste. After a long silence, Neji looked at his hands and asked suspiciously, No matter who is in my hands, he will gain great power. As for what I need you to do, don't worry, it won't be directed at the Hyuga family. Naruto pouted. Not for Hyuga. Doesn't mean not for Konoha. Then how powerful are you? Neji asked seriously. Strong enough to allow you to break the shackles of fate. After Naruto finished speaking, he walked towards Neji step by step. I accept. Without the slightest hesitation, Neji immediately nodded and agreed this time. Then let me help you lift the fate first. Naruto twisted his neck as he spoke. There was a cruel look on his face. Then reach out. The grass pheasant's sword appeared in his hand. Suddenly waved forward. Ah, Naruto-kun don't want it. Hinata screamed straight away. She also thought that Naruto was going to attack Neji. He closed his eyes directly in fear. However, with a ding, Hinata opened her eyes tremblingly. Then he stared blankly at everything that happened in front of him. Naruto's Kusagi sword did slide past Neji, but not at Neji. Instead, it hits the forehead protector on Neji's forehead. Naruto's sword just picked up. Directly transfer the forehead protector to the flight. The sound Hinata heard was the sound of the forehead protector colliding with the floor. What are you doing? Neji reflexively covered the ugly mark on his forehead with his hand. He never wanted anyone to know about this place. Don't you want to break your own shackles? Birds can't break the cage from the inside. All they need is a little help from outsiders. Naruto said coldly. You silently took off the hand protecting your forehead. A stubborn face looked at Naruto. Hinata, close your eyes. Naruto said. At this moment, Chutian also understands that Naruto will not hurt Neji. He closed his eyes obediently, then turned around. Neji gritted his teeth in his ears. It sounds very painful. Hinata thought for a while, and finally decided to obediently listen to Naruto's words without looking back. Although the voice was painful, Neji Big Brother didn't cry out for help. Then there is no danger. There is really no danger. All Neji suffered now was skinning. Naruto precisely drew a square on Neji's forehead. Then the tip of the sword. The square skin on the forehead was directly picked off. Above, there's a bluish streak on the smooth skin. Get ready to accept. I will give you the power. Naruto shouted loudly. From a moment Neji agreed to him, the the second-generation Baltan template was in Naruto's hands. So at this moment, Naruto did not hesitate, sending Baltan directly to Niji's forehead. The fusion of the Baltan template will restore and heal the wounds suffered by the original host. That is to say, with the integration of the template. The injury on Niji's forehead and the injury he suffered from the previous game against Hinata on the field will recover at this moment. Niji's panting face gradually recovered. The tone gradually became calmer. Hinata, I'll leave Niji to you. Naruto smiled. Next, Niji is also on his side. Hinata's safety is guaranteed. The main reason Naruto took Niji was to find a bodyguard for Hinata. Although the current Hinata is not weak, but it's just an extra insurance. After all, Naruto was still worried about a thief, just like the blind boy on the moon. So just to be on the safe side, when you wait for Naruto to return to the field, the battle on the field is over. What should be eliminated has already been eliminated. The next match is just 3 days away. Naruto is going to take advantage of these 3 days. Thoroughly collect some of what Danzo and third generation did with Konoha. Don't worry if you can't find it. Danzo's pot third generation can also carry you back. Anyway, these two are good brothers, and they blame each other, so the problem should not be caused by it. Naruto rubbed his hands expectantly. Clone technique was used immediately afterwards. Last night, he had already asked where Minato Konoha's files were kept. Tonight, he decided to go to the file storage room by himself. And the avatar that I separated is to explore. Is there any information left over from Danzo's base before? If not, there are some other places to search. After all, there are quite a lot of abandoned bases at the root. After everything is ready, under the night, Naruto's body is like a crow, flying continuously in the air. Naruto never thought Hokage's office was weak. The Hokage office can be said to be the most important place in Ninja Village. Like in the original book, Naruto was able to get the sealing techniques smoothly. He didn't believe it without the acquiescence of the third generation. Wait until you are above Hokage's office. Bird humanities afterwards. He transformed into the appearance of Baltan, restraining all his aura. Under the feeling of Kagura's heart and eyes, he could clearly see in all directions in the Hokage office building. Tasted at least dozens of shadows. That's defenseless? The original Naruto can go in. It is really haunted. Light 740 moves with fluttering steps. Naruto keeps his body off the ground with a punch. In this way, it floated all the way into Hokage's office. Then came to the office of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Swipe away Sarutobi Hiruzen's photo album. Then, according to the message Minato gave himself, produced the ninja seal. One last push. On the bookshelves on both sides of the office, scrolls suddenly appeared. Naruto was overjoyed. Without further ado, he walked to the front, but found that many of these arrows are new. There is even a root logo on it. In this way, there is nothing to gain from my avatar tonight. Danzo's files are probably all put away by Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, tonight these files belong to me. Naruto took a rough look. Shocking. Detailed business of the Senju family adapting to wood style. What is the secret of Sharingan? On the probability of White Fan becoming Hokage and the future development. Nine Tails Jinchuriki Battle Plan Asuma Hokage Training Program. The circle of files is simply shocking. The most incredible thing is, what happened with White Fang was really related to third generation. At the beginning, third generation discussed with Danzo all night. Third generation thinks that White Fang should be done, and third generation is completely assured of his achievements in Konoha's heart. But how can Danzo, who regards Hokage as his own, allow it? It directly cracked a series of hazards that White Fang became Hokage. The most important thing is whether becoming the White Fang of Hokage will revitalize the Hitaki clan. And if the Hitaki clan is to be revitalized, it means that the resources owned by the Sarutobi clan and the Shimura clan will definitely disappear. These two families gradually became Konoha families under the cultivation of third generation, not even fully developed yet. If the resource is suddenly cut off, the consequences could be disastrous. So I rationally analyzed White Fang's character. Almost every person that White Fan met on Konoha Street who mocked him was Root and Danzo. people from the Sarutobi and Shimura families. Chapter 86, Black Material of Third Generation, as for the subsequent Asuma Hokage training plan. Just as Naruto guessed, it could be seen from the 10th class assigned by Asuma. Konoha's 3 wealthy families, plus Kurenai Yuhi as Asuma's girlfriend. The students they lead are also from Konoha's big family. If these 6 families support Asuma as Hokage, the daimyo also agreed, and there was no suspense about his matter. Don't forget that Asuma was elected as one of the daimyo's 12 guards before. Third generation is really a good strategy. Pave the way for his son in advance. Toot toot. Correspondingly, Kakashi has always wanted a teammate. The class that is more suitable for him is actually the 10th class. Ino, Shika, CH have been cooperative since ancient times. It's a pity that it was assigned to him. Unpopular Uchiha and Nine Tails Jinchuriki. In a plain Haruno Sakura. The same goes for Guy's words. 2 students with no background plus a Niji from Hyuga Branch House. A good student is all his own. Toot toot. If you look carefully, Naruto discovered that third generation also collected Danzo's black material. I'm afraid that one day in the future, if Danzo becomes Hokage, third generation also has a way to pull him down. With so much black information going up, Danzo has to come down if he doesn't. At that time, Hokage's position will still belong to his son. Pity. The old man is going to die. His son will also die, so what's the use of preparing so much? Naruto put away the scrolls of black material prepared by third generation one by one. Most of this is Danzo's dirty stuff. But if this thing is used well, Danzo's black material will become a generation. Naruto put away the scrolls one by one. However, perhaps because the speed was too fast, these scrolls collided with each other and made some noises. Umbu, who happened to be here on patrol, immediately raised his head and yelled loudly. Who is it? The sound just fell. One after another, figures appeared beside him. Dark 3, what happened? A person who seemed to be at the level of the captain walked over to his side and asked in a low voice. Captain, I seem to have heard some movement in Hokage's office. Dark 3 whispered BB up. The captain's face immediately became serious. You heard me right? This is not to be underestimated. So there was a noise in the office. If there is any loss in this, they cannot escape responsibility. Without the slightest hesitation, the 4-member team immediately drew out their weapons cautiously, then headed towards Hokage's office. Step by step crunch, the door of the office was pushed open. Umbu walked in one by one. However, the moment they all walked in, the door suddenly closed. Boom! Who is it? Dare to attack Konoha Umbu. Don't want to live. The leading captain scolded loudly. The voice is extremely loud. The delusion attracts the other Umbu. But what he didn't know was, from the moment they enter the office, it has already stepped into the enchantment arranged by Naruto. Everything that happened in it will not be known to the outside world at all. Captain, look, one of the Umbu immediately pointed forward. The picture of Hokage's office is different from what they saw during the day. I saw the place where the books were placed on the bookshelf. It was suddenly covered by scrolls one by one. One of the team members couldn't help but stepped forward, ready to take a closer look. However, he was pulled back by Captain Umbu. It's Hokage's file. I'm not qualified to read it. Captain Umbu shook his head. A careful sweep of all areas of Hokage's office then began. Just a sudden closing of the door and the emergence of hidden documents in Hokage's office. They all indicate that there must be someone else here. The area they were in charge of guarding actually appeared, and the stranger was definitely negligent. If Mr. Hokage knew about it, he would definitely be punished. But the most urgent thing now is to find this person. However, when they looked inside and out, they found nothing. Hokage's office is the big fart. The 4 of them looked back and forth, left and right, up and down. Make sure no one is found. Is it the captain's illusion that he didn't see anyone at all? A team member in Shuzhuang couldn't help asking. Captain Umbu also had doubts at the moment. Didn't really see anyone. Hokage office is not big either. There are only a few places for Tibetans. The windows didn't open either. This made them wonder if they were delusional. However, just when they were about to give up and leave, suddenly, laughter came from their ears. Very eerie. It made their goosebumps tremble. Who is it? Don't play tricks. Come out quickly. Captain Umbu pulled it out directly and looked around vigilantly. And then, under their watchful eyes, the office space in front of them. Suddenly, a monster appeared. A monster with yellow eyes and pincers. It's a pity that you didn't climb over those scrolls, Naruto said with a slightly regretful tone. You, Captain, this is the monster Lord Hokage has been looking for. From the first moment I saw Naruto. One of them, Umbu, recalled the third generation and the monster he had described. It's you. What is your purpose? Captain Umbu immediately asked cautiously. It's all about eliminating harm for the people, Naruto said calmly. Elimination? Are you talking about yourself? Captain Umbu responded coldly. If you want to know, why not read the scrolls behind you? Naruto walked in lightly, and then said in a very indifferent tone, no one's allowed to watch. Captain Umbu snorted coldly. Although I don't know why the monster in front of me keeps telling them to look at those scrolls. But it's fine if I come directly opposite to you. I see what you can do with me, Captain Umbu said very proudly. What a pity, the monster in front of him said coldly, just when Captain Umbu was wondering about the other party and regretting something. Suddenly, chains rose from behind the monster. The pitch-black chains are covered with various lights. There is a blue-white light representing low temperature. There are purple-blue lightning, and the dark black light represents ultimate sexual destruction. Puff! The sound of flesh piercing sounded. Tick-tock blood fell drop by drop. Captain Umbu was in disbelief, looking down at the chains running through his heart. Finally, he looked at Naruto with despairing eyes. He opened his mouth to say something, but nothing came out. Accompanied by a bang, there were 4 more corpses in Hokage's office, bleeding continuously. Naruto just watched all this indifferently. Originally, he wanted to drag 4 Umbu into the water. After all, the more people there are, the more Konoha's rumors will increase. It's a pity that the leader is too cautious, also too loyal to third generation. Finally can only stay here. Let tomorrow's third generation meet his loyal subordinates. Put away all the scrolls. Wait until Orochimaru and summon the filthy first generation and the second generation. He wants to be in front of everyone. Come and bring all the evils of third Hokage before your eyes. Let the residents of Konoha take a look. Let the first generation and second generation begin the trial. This is the last plan in Naruto's mind. Let's wait until the third generation is killed. Take away all the dirty stuff about third generation. Naruto's figure disappeared directly into the office. The next day, Sarutobi, who just walked to the door of the office, still maintains a warm expression on his face. Suddenly, a pungent smell of blood rushed into his nose. The warm expression disappeared instantly. Third generation pushed open the door directly. The 4 Umbu in black Umbu costumes came into view. Even their masks haven't been taken off yet. But everyone had a blood hole the size of a bowl in their chest. The most important thing is that the bookshelf, which was originally a place for ornaments, was opened at this moment. But all the things placed on the bookshelf counter disappeared. This is the key to third generation's face change. Come here. Third generation also doesn't care about continuing to maintain a harmonious personality. At this moment, the third generation felt extremely regretful in their hearts. Danzo is dead. Why does he keep those things? Nomas, damn it. Soon, Yabixi and Hai from the interrogation department came with a series of Umbu. It was a one-hit kill, and it seemed that the 4 Umbu were all killed in an instant. After a general glance, Yabixi guessed the circumstances of the death of the 4 Umbu. Hai, the one who kills them is up to you. Third generation took a deep breath and said to Hai, do not worry. Hai nodded. Although dead, his head remained intact. Some memories can still be detected. Time is running out. The third generation didn't bother to take these people to the interrogation department anymore. Directly order Hai to investigate in Hokage's office. After all, the situation is urgent. After a while, Hai opened his eyes. His face was pale. Well, is there any news? Third generation asked nervously. Well, it's that monster. Yamanaka nodded his head nephew. It's him. Who is he? And why does he need those things? Third generation's complexion changed drastically. That monster was an out-and-out enemy. Not only did he kill his friend Danzo, Now, even those materials are needed, in case those things come to light. I don't have to go out by myself. Otherwise, he would have experienced what happened to Naruto back then. Chapter 87 Resurrection. In Hokage's office, when everyone is impatient, Naruto was not in a hurry, but walked leisurely on the streets of Konoha. As the Konoha Chunin exam started, there were more people. With more people, there will be more exchanges about some things rumored in Konoha Village. It's getting closer and closer to discrediting third generation. During this period, Naruto went to develop a relationship with Gaara when he had nothing to do. Try to turn him into Xiaoming Bookie, who is loyal to him like the original book. The only pity is that my persistence has not been broken in the past 3 days. It exists even when you sleep at night. But Naruto was used to it. Besides, it won't last long. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Naruto came to the familiar duel field again. This is the final test. Naruto was almost the last to arrive. When he came here, it was already full of dense crowds. It took a lot of effort to squeeze in. The tuberculosis ghost Moonlight Gale has been waiting for a long time. In the first match, the weird ones are Naruto and Hinata. It was supposed to be Naruto and Niji's, but Niji had already lost to Hinata in the previous few days. So now it is Hinata who is fighting Naruto. This did surprise Naruto. But the two sides stand on the field of duel, not full of high fighting spirit like others. Instead, his eyes were peaceful. It's like dating. Is this Naruto guy going to fight seriously? Sasuke looked suspiciously at Naruto in the arena. Don't look, fighting Hinata. Although I believe that Naruto will win, but the way of victory is estimated to be beyond your expectations. Kakashi's head with black lines, and he looked up unconsciously. Is this battle due to the arrangements of the third generation? Although on the surface, it is a completely random battle. But Konoha's Chunin doesn't know that this thing can be manipulated in secret. It all depends on the Moonlight Blast to open its mouth and say what it is. With the order of the Moonlight Blast, this battle has begun. Third generation looked at Naruto with burning eyes. He wants to see how Naruto will choose. Or, this is an experiment for him. Use Hinata to test whether Naruto has feelings for Konoha. Good if any. Although the bond between him and Naruto has not been achieved. But as long as Konoha has a bond with Naruto, and this person is very sincere to Konoha. So, third generation is also relieved. At least he didn't make Konoha a terrible enemy. However, Naruto is not as good as he imagined. Hinata is injured. Let me die. Konoha is destroyed? None of my business. On the field, the two did not pose for a fight, but Naruto walked towards Hinata step by step, with a friendly smile on his face. But now there is a flower in Naruto's hand. This scene is like a date. Hinata. In the blink of an eye, Naruto was in front of Hinata. Hinata looked up at Naruto in a panic. Just look at this. Naruto's forehead rested directly on Hinata's. Then kiss. Hinata's face instantly looked like a boiled prawn, still steaming. Then he fainted in full view. Fainted in Naruto's arms, being hugged by Naruto just like a princess. Hyuga Hayashi, watching from upstairs, had his teeth broken. Can't wait to give Naruto a punch after jumping now. However, the thought of Naruto's identity. He can only hold back. He has more or less guessed Naruto's identity. Son of Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and Namake's Minato. Minato had saved him on the battlefield back then. The relationship is also not bad. Let him bully Minato's son. He can't do it yet. And with Hinata in a coma, the winner of this battle is always self-evident. Not even Kakashi thought of it. Naruto's method of victory is so unique. In public, Hinata was kissed and passed out. Anyway, Kakashi would not be able to learn this operation in 8 lifetimes. I can only go solo and give Naruto a 6. And the next battle is the much-anticipated Lee and Gaara. The last qualifiers may have been caused by Naruto, a little butterfly. The two didn't meet each other, but they still couldn't escape when the official match started. The two finally met. Naruto's expression also became serious. These two are first-rate powerhouses. Even the strength reaches the point of special Chunin. Of course, he is a first-class powerhouse in the same realm, let alone Naruto's words. If he went, it would be a typical bullying of children. Although Shaoli is from Konoha, Not many people cheered for him. Only Tian and Guy. It seems that no matter which world you are in, appearance is a victory. Mr. Guy, I won't let you down. Xiaoli called loudly to the front of the stage, then gave a thumbs up. The white teeth showed a ding. Guy also returned in exactly the same gesture. This gave Xiaoli great confidence. Whispering, Gaara curled her lip, just quietly waiting for Xiaoli. Gaara at the moment is also somewhat different from the original book. In the original book, Gaara really killed Xiaoli. But there was Naruto before, and Gaara was integrated into Konoha's small circle. It can only be said to integrate temporarily. Talking is out of the question, but I love and I don't mind them being close to me. In her heart, Cucurbit Baby still likes friends very much. But it is a pity that the place Sand Shinobi did not bring him the word friend, CBBF friend. This is all thanks to brother value. Gaara, I heard that you are also a genius of Sand Shinobi. Let me see the strength of a genius. Xiaoli turned his head and gave Gaara a thumbs up. Gaara nodded slightly. I agree. Then there was a bang. A deep pit appeared under Xiao Li's feet, and he himself seemed to have turned into a green whirlwind. Gaara's pupils shrank suddenly. He can't see clearly. Xiao Li's speed is really too fast. He could only see blurry afterimages. Sand hands. A giant sand claw emerged from Gaara's hand. He slapped himself on the back suddenly. It directly collided with Xiao Li's whip leg. Sand hands were directly beaten into grains of sand. It rained down all over the sky. Boom! Xiao Li didn't wait for Gaara's counterattack again, and his figure began to flicker again. But every attack he made was accurately blocked by Gaara. Naruto was quite excited to watch, but suddenly felt the call of 9 tails from the sealed space. Naruto had some doubts in his mind, but he didn't bother to think about why, so he directly entered the sealed space. Outside Naruto's eyes suddenly became dull, staring blankly at the venue in front of him. It's just that no one knows all this, and in the sealed space. Due to the transformation of Kushina before, the place is full of birdsong and flowers. The cage that held 9 tails is also gone. Only the appearance of course disappears. In fact, he has always existed. If it really disappeared, then 9 tails ran out of Naruto's body. Kurama, what are you calling me for? Naruto said carelessly. His eyes also fell on the blonde and red-haired figures beside 9 tails. Own father and mother. Naruto, did you start studying so early today? Just now I have some doubts. Then I got excited again. She is the happiest when teaching Naruto the sealing technique, because in this way you could see your own son. No, it's Kurama calling me something. Naruto shook his head, then swaggered to Kurama. Habitually stroked the soft hair on 9 tails' body. Still a little skinny. Little devil, is Shoha by your side? 9 tails was ready to move. Yes, it's the Chunin exam, and Jinchuriki from 1 tail is fighting with the rest of Konoha. Naruto nodded. Take 9 tails' understanding of Shoha. Gaara probably exuded a little breath, which was sensed by Kurama. Hit him. Kill him. 9 tails said happily. Before meeting Senju Hashirama and Uchihamadara, 2 idiots. In his previous days, he ate, slept, and guarded the crane every day. It has been decades since I have encountered Shoha. 9 tails misses those days so much. Even feeling the breath of Sho, he couldn't bear it anymore. Don't worry, it will be fine in a while, Naruto said meaningfully. He is also looking forward to 9 tails chakra mode. Naruto, just when Naruto and 9 tails were having a good time communicating, suddenly the water was able to walk over, and he looked at Naruto with a gentle face. Naruto looked up immediately. His eyes were full of doubts. What does my cheap father want to do? Is there any way you can get me out and let me meet 3rd generation again? Minato looked at Naruto with a gentle tone, but his eyes were full of anger. During these times when Naruto was away, he was getting more and more angry. The more I think about it, the more I feel that 3rd generation is sorry for myself. So he can't wait to see 3rd generation. I can resurrect you, but you can't let outsiders know for the time being. Naruto hesitated. To be honest, he didn't want to resurrect his father and mother right now. What he thinks is that after he becomes Hokage, or when he is running for Hokage, let Minato appear and show that he is his son. Make yourself more legitimate. This is the best time. Resurrection is also possible now. However, he was afraid that Minato would come out and cause trouble. Resurrection? Kushina immediately exclaimed, looking at Naruto incredulously. Chapter 88 Resurrection Minato, but to be precise, it's not just Kushina. After hearing what Naruto said, Minato Ninetales also looked at Naruto in disbelief. Even Ninetales couldn't believe that Naruto possessed such an earth-shattering ability. Resurrect the dead. If this news reaches the ninja world, those who wish to bring their loved ones back to life are expected to travel from Sunagakure Dragon to Konoha Village. Does this ability really exist? Is it a complete resurrection? Ninetales couldn't help asking. Naruto nodded. That's right, it's a complete resurrection, directly resurrecting you into the peak period of your life. After hearing Naruto's words, Minato's and Kushina's eyes were filled with pride. Proud that Naruto, as their son, has such a powerful ability. Be proud of your son. Naruto, using such a powerful number of people should cost a lot. Promise, Mom, if you don't have to, don't use this kind of ninjutsu. Kushina walked slowly in front of Naruto. Then he squatted down and warned Naruto word by word. Naruto was moved for a moment. Don't worry, it doesn't need a big price, but there is a certain number limit. I can only resurrect 5 witches until now. You have to get the other party's soul. Naruto immediately explained. I can resurrect you now, but it's best not to expose it. After all, once this kind of ninjutsu is exposed, it will be troublesome in the future. Do you really want to go out, father? Naruto looked at Minato with a serious face. I think, just based on your title, I want to get the announcement back for you. Minato clenched his fist firmly. He wants to fight for what his son deserves over the years. Good. Naruto nodded. Then he looked at Kushina. Mom, what about you? Right now, it's not as unified as Naruto expected. Instead, he came to Naruto's side and hugged him. Mom doesn't need it. It's good to be with Naruto every day like this. Even though he said so, Naruto could still see some longing in Kushina's eyes. Kushina still yearns for that real hug. But in the end, he was worried that what Naruto had just told was a lie. In case of using this ninjutsu, it really has an irreversible injury or price to Naruto. Kushina's heart twitched. I see. Naruto didn't explain much either. When everything in the Chunin exam is over and falls, Kushina can also come out. However, I hope that, father, you can hide your identity after you go out. Now is not the time to reveal it. Naruto nodded. Afterwards, he bid farewell to the 3 of them and returned directly to the outside world. Before I left, I could still hear Ninetales yelling loudly to help me beat Shuha. It can only be said that this product really has a peculiar connection with Shoha. Shoha knew that he was moved and cried. But now is the time for the Chunin exam. It is also not suitable for Naruto to revive Minato now. I can only wait until today's exam is over and go home. On the field, the battle between Shao Li and Gaara is still going on. Gaara hasn't moved a single step since the beginning. Instead, Shao Li was panting in the distance after being punched by Gaara. Teacher guy, this time I must prove myself. As Shao Li spoke, he directly raised his arm. Then he took off the bandage that had been wrapped around his arm. Boom! Dust flew up when the bandages hit the field floor. It's... Guy, how much weight did you put on this kid? Kakashi stammered directly at Guy. It's okay. Trust Lee, he has always been my very strong student. This is just a small burden. Mike Guy said with pride in his eyes. Sasuke's heart was also full of surprise. If so, then you fight with bandages all the time. That's unraveled now. Doesn't his speed increase exponentially? Even Haruno Sakura, who always looked down on Shao Li, opened his mouth wide in surprise. Sure enough, just as Sasuke expected, the bondage season ended. It really is the green sparkle like a Konoha. The tights he was wearing twirled around Gaara. In the last second, Gaara was punched in front of him. In the next second, Gaara appeared behind Gaara and kicked him. So fast that even Gaara didn't react. If it wasn't for the FG protection, Gaara didn't know where he was kicked. But Shao Li was unable to attack my ears because of the protection of the Guardian of the Sand. He is also a little anxious. Grandma Li knocks on the door directly. One door after another opened directly to the 5th gate. That is Duman. Shao Li, who opened the door, has his hair standing upside down like a hedgehog. Even the periphery of the body is covered with a layer of green steam. As he calls himself, the green beast of the Konoha. Guy is blue. God knows how many people these two rare beasts of Konoha will shock in the future. Boom, boom, boom. Shaoli, who opened the door, hit Gaara's sand wall with every punch. Although the Guardian of the Sand is very hard. But under receiving so many attacks in a row and at an extremely fast speed, some can't stand it anymore. But he can hold on. Shaoli couldn't bear it any longer. After all, 8 Inner Gates is a ninjutsu that explodes its potential. It may be possible to reach the strongest within a certain period of time, but as time goes by slowly, their physical strength will become weaker and weaker. When a straight action finally ended, it was not even as good as ordinary people. And now Shao Li's speed is getting slower and slower. It will come to a complete stop in 5 minutes at most. And Gaara doesn't even take 5 minutes. A split second, clouds of sand began to appear on the gourd behind Gaara. Sand-bound coffin. Groups of sand appeared and immediately covered Shaoli. There was too much sand, and Shaoli couldn't avoid it at all. He could only watch helplessly as the sand covered himself tightly like a snake. Admit defeat, or you will be absolutely unable to resist the next move, Gaara said in a cold voice. The next move is the funeral at Sand Waterfall. The powerful power contained in the sand can crush the bones of the enemy. Shaoli also understood the seriousness of the matter. At this moment, he was trapped by the sand, and he had no way to move. Despair and loneliness flashed in Shao Li's eyes. He still didn't play genius in the end. I surrender, Shao Li said stubbornly and unwillingly. Although he is very persistent, he is not stupid. Gaara's Sandfall funeral he knows. In the last month, a party in the Forest of Death. Gaara's Sandstorm funeral strangled a tiger to pieces. So this is the reason why Shao Li admits defeat. If he didn't know, he might still stick to it. Gaara, victory. Moonlight Gale declared victory. And the next one is Shikamaru and Temari's. The result is still the same as in the original. Shikamaru's IQ crushed. If I guess right, Temari's heart was taken by Shikamaru again. Then it's someone else's game. Haruno Sakura and Ino. Little Fatty and AB Siege. Anyway, there's basically nothing Naruto cares about. The last match in 3 days is what matters. Presumably, Orochimaru couldn't bear it long ago. The corners of Naruto's mouth turned up slightly. And after today's game is over, he couldn't wait to return to his room. Then all the doors and windows were sealed. Set up a perception enchantment. Finally, the soul of Namake's Minato was solemnly taken out. That's a really nice guy. The soul is still golden. It's really weird. After making a complaint, Naruto couldn't wait to bear the imprint of Rinne Tensei technique. A green light came out from Naruto's hand after the snow. It fell directly on Minato's soul. A golden light burst out in front of Naruto's eyes instantly. Really like the day. If it weren't for Naruto's careful sealing of the doors and windows of the room. At that time, the movement in your room will definitely attract the attention of interested people. And then, in the golden light, white shards appeared. The pieces are like a puzzle. The pieces fit together perfectly and assembled. Eventually turned into Minato wearing the Hokage robe. I really lost my life. Chapter 89 Kakashi. Forgive me, guy. Am I really alive? Minato held out his palm in disbelief. Feel the temperature in the body. A look of joy filled his face. Then he turned his gaze to Naruto, who was in front of him. He directly stepped forward and held Naruto in his arms with open arms. Naruto suddenly forgot to dodge. Feeling the warmth of Minato's embrace in a daze is different from the hug in the sealed space. No matter how deep the feeling is, it's okay. Real-world hugs. Really warm. It touched Naruto's heart a little bit. Naruto, I will never leave you again, Minato whispered. Naruto nodded firmly. Naruto believes. However, father, please don't expose yourself for the time being. The next plan does not require you to show up so early. If you really want to appear in front of the people of Konoha Village, then you can only wait for me to defect. April 20th, Naruto nodded and said firmly, I understand, and I support the decision you made. Minato rubbed Naruto's head. But now I'm going to find a suitable identity. Just wait for me at home. Minato smiled. It was night now, and Minato stepped into the door, just about to open the door of the room. Suddenly, he frowned. Naruto, are you being watched all the time? Minato's keen senses knew that there were more than a dozen eyes watching at the place where Naruto was. Yes, after all, my identity deserves to be treated like this. A hint of self-mockery flashed across Naruto's face. Minato was silent. An instant disappeared directly for Naruto's field of vision. Naruto's heart was startled, as expected of Minato with the golden glitter name. The speed is really fast, and that's just pure body flicker technique. I really don't know what the flying thunder god, known as the ninjutsu of time and space, is like. After leaving Minato, the room became Naruto again, lying here alone. Looking at the simple ceiling, Naruto didn't know what he was thinking. And at the same time, Minato appearing on the roof, a few blinks away from where Naruto was, escaped the surveillance of the third generation. After all, Naruto said that his current identity cannot be revealed yet. On the roof of an unknown house, Minato looked towards where Naruto was, a dilapidated house leaning on the edge of the leaves. The only one nearby is Naruto. It feels like this is specially prepared for Naruto, or it seemed like he didn't deserve to be in the house with the other residents. The very edge of the leaves. Minato took note. He didn't remember that his house was on the edge of my street. He and Kushina only had one house from beginning to end. It is in the center of Konoha. So what about this house? According to the memory in this mind, Minato walked towards his previous home. Keep your body hidden, even though it's night now. But the arrival of the Chunin exam brought many new guests. So even though it was night, it was still very lively. And the street in the center of Konoha is even busier than during the day. However, with Minato's strength to hide his figure in front of these ordinary people, it is naturally easy to catch. Use the transformation technique to turn into an ordinary person. Minato walks the streets of Konoha. I sighed inwardly. Konoha has really changed a lot over the years. Not only the environment has changed, but even the heart has changed. No matter how it is called, the little son is gentle. Seeing his own son being treated like this will not be indifferent. Minato is already disappointed with Konoha's villagers. Although it is deceived, it is also too ignorant. Vent your inner dissatisfaction to a small child. Such villagers are not worthy of his protection. While walking, Minato stopped suddenly. He stared blankly at the attic in front of him, and there is no impression of dust accumulation. There are still lights on in the house. In other words, the house he lived in was sold. Still curious, Minato quietly glanced into the room. The body froze immediately. The house is not being sold. Instead, it is occupied. In the room I used to have. It's a bearded man and a kid who looks 7 or 8 years old. Minato is very familiar with this big guy from Lake Lozi. And Kakashi are classmates. Also the son of 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Asuma. So is my house occupied by 3rd Hokage's son? No. Minato knows Asuma's character well. Although he was still arrogant and domineering when he was in school, he also began to show loyalty after graduation. He won't do things like occupying other people's houses. In other words, is this house assigned to his son by the 3rd generation? Minato's fist is clenched. This house holds many memories of him and Kushina. When Gyoshin was just pregnant, I knitted a lot of scarves and dolls for Naruto, who is still in his stomach. If the house has a new owner, will the new owner throw away the old owner's things? The answer is obvious. He wrote down this account. Minato turned and left. He didn't forget the purpose of coming out, just to be able to obtain an identity that can appear above board in Konoha. And this identity Minato has long been prepared. Just be Umbu, wearing a mask to wrap the whole body tightly. This way no one will be able to know your identity, and it can also appear in Konoha openly. So now Minato needs an Umbu costume. Kakashi, will you change? Look at the neon lights on the streets of Fongmuyi. Minato's eyes fell on Kakashi, who leaned against the wall and flipped through the little yellow books. And beside him, there is a watermelon head in a green tights. Guy, Kakashi also found his own friends. I just don't know if I still recognize me as a teacher. A lonely smile appeared on Minato's face. Then he walked towards Kakashi step by step, until standing in front of Kakashi for a long time to control. Kakashi, who was chatting with Guy while reading a pornographic book, suddenly felt that the light in front of him was blocked. Look up. I saw a strange man standing in front of me. There was also a weird smile on his face. This directly stunned Kakashi. You? May I ask if you have anything to do with me? Kakashi touched his forehead unconsciously. Why did he feel that this man looked at him so strangely? There are indeed some things I want to discuss with you. Why don't we go to ramen together? Minato smiled at Kakashi. Do not know why. Kakashi found the smile familiar. Also very warm. The sun is a bit abnormal. Sure. Kakashi will put away the little yellow book. Habitually smirked. Instead, look at what is abnormal about the person in front of you. Come to find yourself. Do you want to do something? Hey, then Kakashi, you agreed to my challenge? Guy said anxiously. Forgive me, Guy, next time. As he spoke, Kakashi flicked Guy's forehead with his index and middle fingers together. Just showed Minato in a daze. Is the relationship a little too intimate? Chapter 90 Garov's Sasuke Ichiraku Ramenin. Minato gave Uncle Ichiraku a big thumbs up. Uncle is still familiar with the taste. I really like the ramen made by your family. Haha, I like Wong. Ichiraku narrowed his eyes and laughed heartily. As a chef, what is more important than compliment from guests? So, what exactly do you want, Uncle? Kakashi finished the soup leisurely. Then, with lightning speed, he put on the mask. A salted fish looked at Minato. I want to ask you for a favor. Minato said with a smile. Oh, ask Jinin for help? What a luxury. Kakashi rolled his eyes. However, I still suggest you go to Konoha's mission hall. No, only you can help me with this task, and I can only trust you. As he spoke, Minato took out a handful of kunai while no one was watching. A triangular kunai for Flying Thunder God. It even has the Flying Thunder God stamp left by Minato on it. The moment I saw this kunai, Kakashi nudged and stood up. Why do you have this thing? Kakashi's body was instantly filled with murderous intent. Don't worry, let's find a quiet place to talk. Minato felt playful in his heart. It was fun to tease his serious 21-year-old disciple Kakashi, just like that. After all, in his impression, Kakashi has always been that kind of aloof boy. It's really fun to tease, just like a cat. You come with me. Kakashi paid the money directly, then took Minato's hand and came to Konoha's training ground. At night, except for those who train hard, almost no one will come. Who are you? How could this kunai appear again? Kakashi finished asking. Kakashi, it's me. Seeing that he has reached this place, Minato no longer chooses to hide his identity. Unlock transformation technique directly. Revealed his original appearance. Wears a white 4th Hokage robe, plus that iconic blonde hair. Teacher, it's you. How is this possible? Kakashi rips off his Sharingan. Then he looked at the figure in front of him in shock. This change is not a transformation technique change. This is actually real Minato. Teacher, what the hell is going on? Didn't you already? As Kakashi said, the corners of his eyes were moist. Sorry, Kakashi, the teacher is late. Looking at Kakashi's wet eyes, Minato also felt a little guilty. Look at Shi's life is really bitter. His father died when he became famous when he was young, his teammates died on the battlefield, and his teacher died when he was about to grow up. Truly as lonely as a scarecrow. No, it's not too late, teacher. I'm glad you're here. Kakashi shook his head. The only thing he hopes now is that what is happening in front of him is not an illusion. I am here, and this time I will never leave again. Minato's eyes were a little determined. Sensei, when will you revert to Hokage? And Naruto, he's had a hard time these years. Kakashi seemed to have encountered a tree hole to confide in and told Minato what he had held in his heart all these years. I came back this time for these things. Minato clenched his fists and looked at the brightly lit Hokage office. In his eyes, he seemed to be able to see an old face sitting in Hokage's office. Kakashi, I know how Naruto has been these years, and I understand your difficulties. As for being Hokage again, forget it. My only hope now is to give Naruto the position of Hokage. Minato said, Sensei, have you met Naruto? Kakashi quickly raised his inner doubts. No, now is not the time. Minato shook his head. He still chose to help Naruto hide. He doesn't want others to know that his resurrection has something to do with Naruto. So that's the case. What did you ask me to help you, teacher? The Kakashi alliance raises inner doubts. He sees if he hears correctly. The reason I'm here is because Minato wants to do him a favor. The main purpose of coming here is to see you, and by the way, give me the clothes you left behind from Umbu. Next, I will appear in Konoha in the posture of Umbu and watch Naruto grow step by step. Minato said with a look of kindness in his eyes. I see. Kakashi nodded. Isn't it Umbu's costume? It was easy for him. After all, he used to be the captain of Umbu anyway. By the way, Kakashi, don't tell anyone about my appearance. Not even third generation. Minato hastily warned Kakashi. I know. Kakashi understands. Besides, he hadn't planned to tell. Since Naruto's matter, Kakashi and third generation have made it clear. The gap between them is getting deeper and deeper. There is no longer the closeness of the past. Kakashi is just like an ordinary subordinate. Now the only person I can trust in Konoha is you, Kakashi. Minato patted Kakashi on the shoulder. Sigh up. The position of Hokage is really difficult. Hokage is no longer protecting the village. Instead, it became a political tool. 3 days passed in circles. Maybe other people are more or less leisurely in these 3 days. But Naruto is busy. It was just pouring dirty water on the Uchiha and Senju clan on the third generation. Now there's a scroll prepared by the Hokage office third generation for Danzo. That's a good guy. Naruto simply ignored Danzo. After all, who would be angry with a dead person? As for the dirty water, third generation old man, just feel wronged. Was the death of White Fang, the destruction of the country of the Vortex, and the dawn of Rain organization. Anyway, these people are all angry at Danzo. That's all for the news. Naruto can be sure. Jiraiya and Kakashi will definitely be disappointed with third generation, because it is today. The third generation issued an order. It is forbidden for the village to discuss topics related to itself, including White Fang, Senju, and some other big families. This is intentional by Naruto. It was hard to push the third generation to the current state. If not, rumors will intensify, especially the current Konoha village. There are so many people from other ninja villages. Once the Chunin exam is over, these ninjas from Ninja Village will go back. Tell me what you saw and heard in Konoha. At that time, pass it on from 10 to 10 to 100. The reputation of third generation is completely rotten. This is what happens when there is no prohibition. But banning is not much better. If you don't prohibit them from discussing, they can't tell the truth from the fake. But if you ban it, doesn't that mean you have a guilty conscience? Once guilty, then there is no need to say what the consequences will be. There is another famous saying, as long as there is something, the more you ban it, the more popular it will be. 370, especially when the news of White Fan came out. Only ordered by the third generation. This doesn't make Kakashi think too much. Why didn't you order a ban when discussing the Whirlpool clan and the Senju clan earlier? You forbid talking about your father, White Fang. This doesn't allow him to think too much. These are all off topic. Anyway, today's Chunin exam venue. When 80% of people saw the third generation at the top, their eyes were full of distrust and contempt. It's as if third generation didn't see it, still with an old face. Look east and west, habitually revealed a kind smile. But this time, Moonlight Gale was still alive. Naruto was a little stunned when he saw that the host was still Moonlight Hate. He thought it was a blast. The first opening ceremony is to fight against a Inin village every day. This is also the last single seedling in Inin village. But it's a pity, when she used Kaienben, she met Tiantian's long queue of weapons. In the end, he was defeated. The next fight is just Kankuro and a sidekick. If I remember correctly, it seems that I have no chance to make a move today. A month ago, Sasuke and Gaara, one is cold and the other is arrogant, and they're a little crazy. Not only did their relationship not improve, instead, they would sneer when they met. So Naruto, for sure. If the two will collide like the original, then Gaara will definitely be insane. When the time comes, one tail will come out. That means the scene is fully unfolded. Naruto has been waiting for a long time for this. Next, it's Gaara and Uchiha Sasuke from Sand Shinobi. Chapter 91. Jiraiya's Persecution. The next match is Gaara from Sand Shinobi versus Uchiha Sasuke from Konoha. With the order of the Moonlight Blast, Gaara came slowly stepping on the sand and came to the middle of the duel arena. And Sasuke also snorted coldly, jumped directly from the railing of the waiting seat. Comparing the original value between the two, after all, Sasuke is better. It seems to be specially for the last day of the Chunin exam. Sasuke changed his blue outfit to black, became more ruthless, and that's a clean jump. It also attracted the attention of many people. More than half of them are girls. That's a good guy. The scream was very piercing. Gaara's brow furrowed. Gaara of Sand Shinobi, I've been looking forward to fighting you for a long time. Sasuke put his hands in his pockets, not knowing what an opponent is. He looked at Gaara leisurely, but the tone is very arrogant. Che, I'm still looking forward to the fight with Uzumaki Naruto instead of the fight with you. Gaara clasped her hands together, also looking at Sasuke with disdain. Sasuke snorted coldly. You thought you'd be a match for that guy. The conversation between the two also made the audience curious. Who the hell is Uzumaki Naruto? The onlookers could not help but raise some interest. But recall the appearance of Naruto. It was a blonde kid. Indeed, many viewers discussed it. So far, Naruto has conducted a total of 2 must-haves. One is Heir, and one more show with Hinata. Neither of these 2 competitions showed strong strength. Punch the tooth in the face. Facing Hinata is a kiss. It was indeed a rather weird battle. Anyway, for the audience, Naruto's combat seems to add a sense of humor to this tense battle. But listen to the conversation between the two on the stage. Naruto seems to be very strong. Is this true? Rarely did the audience raise some interest in Naruto. But the battle on stage has begun. Sasuke and Gaara deserve to be 2 of the most prestigious players, under one trick and one combination. It turned out to be an inextricable fight, and Naruto also found a very important point. Sasuke's physical skills seem to be improving a bit fast. Isn't this secretly training behind his back? Thinking of this, Naruto rushed to mourn for little Momo. Genius is not scary. Hard work really surpasses genius. But the scariest thing is that geniuses work as hard as you do. This is impossible to surpass, even if you want to surpass it. Lion Blast. Sasuke binge, drinking all his life. Quickly moved directly to Gaara's side. Then kick Gaara on the sand shield. Kick Gaara in the air. Bump. 2 streams of smoke appeared. Sasuke cast clone technique. Then the 3 Sasuke jump high together. Came to Gaara, who was kicked into the air. Extend your right leg together. Then it slashed down like an axe. Boom! Gaara slammed down like a khaki ball. The huge movement forced a deep pit to appear on the field. Dust rises. For a moment, the audience in the auditorium couldn't see clearly what was happening on the field. Moonlight Gale quickly used wind style to blow away the dust. I saw the middle of the pit. A small figure stood up from the ground. Blossoms of fine sand emerged from the gourd behind him, then wrapped around Gaara's side. Tick, blood dripped from the corner of Gaara's mouth. Gaara wiped it with her hand, and then showed a pervert smile. Interesting, Uchiha Sasuke. Now I'm a little bit interested in you. The voice just fell. Gaara's eyes were instantly bloodshot. A violent, murderous aura spread from his body. Like a violent storm, it attacked Sasuke. Now from the beginning of the battle, Gaara finally took a step, like a crazy wild dog. Roaring, he rushed toward Sasuke. Beside him appeared 2 paws with condensed sand. When seeing this scene, Baki from Sand Shinobi broke out in a cold sweat. Pray to Gaara, don't get out of control now. Temari and Kankuro also looked a little panicked. Gaara's behavior at the moment is like losing his mind. Thinking of Gaara's state, if someone provokes him, he will be miserable. Both of them couldn't help shivering. Hope Gaara doesn't overdo it. After all, this is Konoha, and Gaara, who was in a frenzy, attacked even more violently. There was even an inexplicable aura of coercion. Sasuke was a little out of breath. Is this the breath of one tail? Umbu next to Naruto asked curiously. Naruto turned his head helplessly. Dad, even if you're pretending, you'd better cover up your golden hair. And don't you have 9 tails with een attribute in your body? Why do you still ask me? But maybe this is the kind of father-son interaction that Minato likes. Naruto still answered him helplessly. That's right, this brat is actually Jinchuriki from One Tail. Naruto nodded, then asked quietly, Dosen, have you successfully mastered the power of Nine Tails? Naruto did not forget that Minato mastered the Nine Tails Jinchuriki mode during the fourth battle. Really turned into gold glitter. Is it the power to hold the Nine Tails? Then I have indeed mastered this, and I feel that Nine Tails is pretty easy to talk about. A happy smile appeared under Minato's mask. Sharp adoration flickered in Naruto's eyes. Good guy. You're the child of destiny, right? It's contagious. This mouth escapes. You're the one who doesn't talk. Forcibly communicate with Nine Tails in your stomach, and let Nine Tails give you the power. The son inherits the father's business. Naruto, I saw teacher Jiraiya. Minato suddenly looked up and said in surprise. Naruto immediately followed Minato's gaze. It is indeed on the top viewing platform. Saw the white-haired Jiraiya. But look at the angry look on Jiraiya's face. And where he went. This is where the third generation is located. A smug smile played on Naruto's mouth. I have to say that my rumors are valid. It should be about the Akatsuki organization, which was known by Jiraiya. But the dirty water I poured out is that Danzo and third generation are in partnership. The real situation is still done by the group boss. I said before, 80% of the tragedies in the ninja world happen, and the group bosses are involved behind the scenes. And Konoha's tragedy is 100% his. So this guy's death is really not wronged. But after taking a look at Naruto, he didn't care. How could Jiraiya be angry again? At most, quarrel with third generation. With the thick skin of third generation, will you care? He doesn't care. And what can Jiraiya do? Fight the third generation? He can't do this. Defected from Konoha? He is no different from defecting now. I have not returned to Konoha for more than 10 years. Shook his head. Naruto continues to watch Gaara and Sasuke fight. Gaara was on the brink of collapse. Ms. Sarutobi. Jiraiya snarled at Sarutobi Hiruzen aggressively. Hee, Lord Third Hokage, it seems that your majesty in the village is not very good. Any white-haired wretched man can call your name. Orochimaru, who was wearing a fourth Kazekage cap beside him, looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a growl. There was some melancholy in the eyes looking at Jiraiya. It was this white-haired wretched man who forced him to change bases several times. The summoning beast of this product should not be a toad. It should be a dog. I'm sorry to make fourth Kazekage laugh. The villain is naughty. Third generation's superficial smile is half-hearted. Then he gave Jiraiya a vicious look. Jiraiya, what on earth are you trying to say? There are still outsiders here. Jiraiya was literally ignoring him just now. Put his majesty on the ground and step on it. Mr. Sarutobi, answer my question, otherwise our master-student relationship will end like this. Jiraiya is also ruthless. If third generation admits, this matter really has something to do with him. Jiraiya is not just talking about it. She will stop when she says it. After hearing what Jiraiya said, there was a flash of surprise in Snake's big eyes. The eyes hidden under the shadow cap kept looking at the two of them. What exactly are you asking? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked impatiently. Being watched by so many people, his expression was a little bit uneasy. In the Land of Rain, about the Akatsuki organization, the village has been saying recently that Hans of the Salamander is dead, and the founders of the Akatsuki organization are also dead. The reason why the two of them fought was because of you and Tuan Mengao. Teacher, Jiraiya expressed the doubts in her heart. He originally searched for subjects and inspiration in the village. Suddenly, I heard the ants in the bathroom discussing this topic. This made him collapse on the spot. He was exposed and was beaten up by the ant in the bathroom. But nature doesn't care. His mind was full of what had just been talked about. Recently, Konoha has indeed had a lot of discussions about Danzo and his teacher. But Jiraiya laughed it off too. After all, he doesn't care about such things. But when it comes to Akatsuki organization, his face couldn't help becoming serious. When on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, he had adopted 3 children, been with him for 3 years. I heard that their ideal is to bring peace to everyone in the ninja world, Li Zhao. After hearing the news of the death, Jiraiya was still sad for a while. But who would have thought that the truth of their death was that the person with Konoha intervened behind them? He is also his most respected teacher. This is what makes Jiraiya incredible. The most respected teacher is actually the murderer who indirectly caused the death of his own disciple. I don't know about it. Third generation frowned. He didn't even know that the salamander was dead. But Danzo during Ninja War. Danzo seems to have sent someone to raid Shinobi Village. Master, where is Danzo? Jiraiya asked in a low voice. After much deliberation, the final murderer of this incident, Jiraiya, still targeted Tuanming. He knew Danzo well, after all. If Danzo really did something to raid Shinobi Village Nagato, then the captain definitely knew something. Like Nagato's eyes. Fairy eyes. Teacher, tell me, has Danzo been to raid Shinobi Village? Jiraiya asked with red eyes. Third generation looked solemnly, then nodded slowly. Are you directing King behind this matter? Jiraiya rarely uses you. This represents a respectful title, but also represents alienation. I don't know about this matter. After all, you know that Danzo has independent decision-making power. Third generation shook his head. Jiraiya was disappointed. The teacher himself has not responded yet. Danzo's autonomous decision-making power. You gave it to me. You are Hokage. Chapter 92, Konoha Collapse. Plan. The master and apprentice began to confront each other. Orochimaru watched the scene with interest. If he remembers correctly, Jiraiya is for the three little guys he met in raid Shinobi Village. This thing Orochimaru knew. When they first met, Orochimaru's suggestion was to kill the three of them. But Jiraiya, you stayed and protected the three for 3 years. Later, even Orochimaru believed that the three died in the war. But he joined Akatsuki by chance a few years ago. Naturally recognized that these were the three people from that year. Also Jiraiya's choice. But it seems that Jiraiya doesn't know that the three are still alive. It's really interesting. Orochimaru is like that gust of wind, only responsible for blowing. As for how the windmill turns, he just wants to see without thinking. I see. After a long time, Jiraiya took a deep breath and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with disappointed eyes. Jiraiya, Danzo is dead. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but speak. As soon as this remark came out, both Orochimaru and Jiraiya were very serious. Are you sure you didn't lie to me? Jiraiya looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen suspiciously. It's true that I saw Danzo die with my own eyes at the hands of a monster. Sarutobi Hiruzen said seriously. Monster? Jiraiya frowned. What kind of monster is able to kill Konoha's elder Danzo? Fourth Kazekage asked with interest. That monster only has the shape of a human, but there is nothing in the whole body that has anything to do with human beings. I suspect that this monster is the research of Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen said righteously. At first he was just skeptical, but think of those materials in his office. After being stolen by this monster, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt affirmed instead. With his knowledge of Orochimaru, Orochimaru definitely wanted to mess things up. And as his teacher, Sarutobi Hiruzen 950 has reason and firmly believes that Orochimaru wants to FK himself. The most important thing is that the current Orochimaru is among the leaves. Whether it's Jiraiya or Naruto, meet and see with your own eyes. Orochimaru, you did a good job. Jiraiya sneered. Originally had a bad sense of Danzo. Now hearing what the villagers in the village were talking about, he hated Danzo even more. And the corner of Orochimaru's mouth twitched. In the end, he didn't say anything. He took the blame for it. And can hear the compliments from Jiraiya, the idiot. Seems pretty good too. Teacher, I hope you didn't lie to me. Otherwise, next time I really encounter a team battle again, I will kill him with my own hands. Jiraiya's voice was low, hiding endless rage. Nature. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Of course, if Danzo really came out, then the ending would be different. And at this moment, a panicked breath came from the duel arena. For a moment, the eyes of the three were immediately attracted. Orochimaru cursed secretly. Working with people from San Shinobi is really unreliable. But this is the end of the matter. It must be done. Orochimaru came in an instant, behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. For a moment, neither Jiraiya nor Sarutobi Hiruzen reacted. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, but there was no panic at all. Fourth Kazekage, what do you want to do? Do you want to set off another ninja war? Teacher Sarutobi, I am your dearest disciple after all. Don't you recognize me? Orochimaru hoarse his throat. Then a long tongue came out of Orochimaru's mouth. He lifted Foaming's hat off, showing his pale skin, CBBC, and snake-like vertical pupils. It's you, Orochimaru. Jiraiya jumped up directly, looking at Orochimaru in disbelief. He never thought that Orochimaru would appear beside him, so close. No, it is Orochimaru's identity, because at the moment, it is disguised as Fourth Kazekage. So what about the real Fourth Kazekage? Where did the Fourth Kazekage go? Jiraiya asked, frowning. I originally wanted to cooperate with this guy, but unfortunately, his demands were too high, so I had to send him to die. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth turned upward. It is also a great honor for him to be able to kill Shadow. Orochimaru, you're as evil as ever. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head. Then a self-deprecating smile appeared. Orochimaru immediately sensed something was wrong and waved the kunai in his hand without hesitation. However, the expected blood spurt did not appear. Sarutobi Hiruzen held in his arms. It turned directly into mud. Soil, Avatar? The teacher is worthy of being a teacher, and the speed is so fast that I didn't even notice it. Orochimaru chuckled. Then with a sudden pull, the fourth generation sealing robe on his body was completely torn off, revealed his original appearance. And with the exposure of Orochimaru, the pocket on the scene immediately began to cast illusions. Feather after feather fell, obscure the field of vision of these viewers. Then unconsciously, everyone in the auditorium fell into a coma. Only some genin who reacted quickly untied the illusion he planted. And at this moment, one after another, the intruders appeared in Konoha's field. Most people don't even react. Naruto didn't expect Orochimaru's speed to be so fast. He is seeing the wonderful time. Sasuke's Chidori just pierced through Gaara's shield. Then Gaara went mad. Naruto also wants to see Gaara slap Sasuke. I didn't know that it was so fast. Naruto, what are you going to do? Minato turned his head and asked. Minato unknowingly blocked Naruto behind him. Let's watch the show first. Naruto said indifferently. Minato felt helpless. If your son wants to see it, then pamper him. Then Minato was like a bodyguard. Stand by Naruto's side in the chaotic field. Naruto is like a flower in jelly. Very eye-catching. Kakashi and Guy were back-to-back and kicked San Shinobi and Inoue who were attacking. Kakashi, it looks like Konoha has suffered a terrible attack. Guy wiped his nose, then let out a strange cry. Be careful, this is an attack on ye. Kakashi looked serious. Then why not have a friendly competition and see who can defeat the most enemies? Guy said excitedly. Then try it. Kakashi waved his hand. But before that, get this out of control San Shinobi player under control. Kakashi looked at Gaara. Give it to me. Naruto stood up. He hasn't forgotten that he still has a few missions on Gaara. Naruto. Kakashi was taken aback for a moment, and then looked at the blonde Umbu behind Naruto. Minato nodded secretly. Then I'll leave this to you. Kakashi nodded. Naruto's gaze also looked at the embarrassed Sasuke. Sasuke was really bitter in his heart. He doesn't even know what's going on yet. If you fight well, the opposite side is like a mad dog. It's an infectious disease. The amount of remaining chakra suddenly exploded several times. That heart-wrenching aura is even more terrifying than not being cut again. Only when Sharingan was turned on, he could barely react. This is simply not the strength that this age group possesses. Coupled with the previous battle, Sasuke consumed a lot of chakra. Confronted by Gaara, who was going berserk, Sasuke could only run away in embarrassment. Unknowingly, he returned to the Death Forest again. And with Naruto's departure, other students in the same realm could not help but come to their senses. Naruto, don't go, it's dangerous, Chai said anxiously. However, Naruto's figure has already run away. Why are you staring at the shortcomings to catch up? Shikamaru rolled his eyes and immediately moved forward, towards the past where Naruto is chasing. Seeing this, The others also followed behind Shikamaru. Among them are Temari and Kankuro. And at the same time, four people appeared. Circles Sarutobi, Hiruzen, and Jiraiya directly. Umbu, who stayed outside, stared with big eyes. They wanted to go in, but the four purple flame formations trapped them outside. He could only look at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a worried face. Lord Hokage, be careful. Umbu from the outside world looked worried. At the moment, Jiraiya and Sarutobi Hiruzen are on the side, and Orochimaru is just on the other side. The two sides launched a confrontation. Jiraiya, your appearance is indeed somewhat beyond my expectations. Orochimaru felt helpless. In his plan, shouldn't Jiraiya be responsible for the summoning beasts that were summoned by him outside? Why did he suddenly run in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen? The most important thing is that Sha Ying's kid just happened to lose control right now. There was nothing Orochimaru could do for a while. The plan can only be enforced. Then Jiraiya and his teacher, two Kage-level strong people, were circled. One hit two, but definitely not. But Orochimaru has help. So even if this is the situation at the moment, Een Snake is not the slightest bit nervous. Turn back. Orochimaru, you still have a chance now. Jiraiya looked at her former friend and couldn't help admonishing her. Idiot, there is no way behind me to go back. Orochimaru sneered. Also look back. I'll give your grandma a kick. Where do I go? I don't want to hurt you. Jiraiya whispered. Orochimaru suddenly threw his back into the sky and laughed loudly. It was like hearing a joke. Then he bent down without hesitation. Slivers of lion majesty came out of his mouth, winding towards Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya. The array of 10,000 snakes. You don't want to hurt me? Jiraiya, where do you get your confidence? Orochimaru sneered, looking at Jiraiya. Jiraiya didn't say anything more and immediately produced the summoning technique. Appears with smoke. Two old little toads appeared in front of Jiraiya. Chapter 93 One Tail appears Sage Mode. There was some water in Orochimaru's eyes. The strength of this force. Orochimaru knows better than anyone. His so-called spell seal was developed according to Sage Mode. But what about Sage Mode? Orochimaru sneered. He is not in a hurry to show his whole cards. He wants to be when the opponent thinks he is about to win. Then show your cards. Let their joy of victory turn into despair in an instant. By the time Jiraiya was the emoticon, it was definitely hilarious. Teacher, help me delay for a while. Jiraiya said to Sarutobi Hiruzen. His immortal technique is not perfect, so every time you enter Sage Mode, it takes time to enter. Little Jiraiya, what's going on? The two ancestors didn't even understand what happened. He looked around in bewilderment. When they found out that the environment they were in was actually Konoha, I almost tore off my beard in fright. What the hell is going on here? It's too late to explain. The two immortals helped me enter Sage Mode. Jiraiya said anxiously. The two immortals also knew that something was wrong. Without the slightest hesitation, quickly stood on Jiraiya's shoulders to help him incorporate the natural energy of the heaven and the earth. Orochimaru gave a disdainful glance without stopping, and even if he wanted to stop it, he couldn't stop it. Sarutobi Hiruzen was watching him intently. Hidden snake hand. Orochimaru jerked his shoulders. The shoulders were as soft as a snake, and they moved towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Even in midair, it really turned into a huge python. It opened its mouth wide, revealing its fangs. Bite towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Water style. The water rushes. Sarutobi Hiruzen formed a seal immediately, and then spat out a vast ocean from his mouth. In an instant, above the Chunin examination site, it was submerged in blue water. The 10,000 snake formation unleashed by Orochimaru. All the snakes were washed by the water and crushed by the strong water pressure. But Orochimaru didn't expect his move to cause harm to his teacher and former teammates. Also released the latent snake hand, although breaking through the water shockwave. But just at the moment when Sarutobi Hiruzen is about to be touched, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his hand violently. Catch Lion Majesty hard. Orochimaru reflexively wants to spit the pheasant's sword out of Lion Majesty's mouth, but his face suddenly froze. Hasty, The grass pheasant sword was snatched by a blonde kid. Orochimaru hastily looked into the field. However, Naruto was not seen. Instead, he saw a blonde Umbu who was watching the chaotic scene coldly with his hands in his hands. Blonde? Orochimaru didn't know why. There was a bad premonition in my heart. Also, what about One Tail? Where did this guy go insane? In the Forest of Death, Sasuke dodges the sandball released by Gaara in embarrassment. At this moment, Gaara has completely lost his mind. There was madness in his eyes. He kept muttering in his mouth, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." Immediately afterwards, Gaara's companion turned into yellow sand. The sand gradually condensed, finally turned into flesh and blood. It's as if half of Gaara's body has turned into a civet cat. Even a tail appeared behind it. The tail gently swept against the ground. Over the swept area, four small balls of sand suddenly appeared. Then, the balls shot towards Sasuke like bullets. Sasuke dodges back and forth with Rinnegan, but the speed of the ball was faster than he imagined. The most important thing is that the quantity is still too much. For a moment, Sasuke dodged 3 of them, but there was one left, which went straight through Sasuke's arm. Sasuke screamed, immediately fell to the ground. Blood dripped from the wound on the arm. Sasuke couldn't even stand up. "Kill you. Your blood will make mother happy. Kill you." Gaara's tail flicked. The tail lengthens rapidly, and at the end of the tail, instantly turned into sharp spikes. In the part where the tail is pierced, it is clearly Sasuke's heart. Seeing the tail getting closer and closer to him, but there is no power coming from the body. Couldn't even stand up. Sasuke's heart was filled with despair. How could he die in a place like this? He hasn't had his revenge yet. Haven't revived the Uchiha clan yet. How can you die? It's a pity to let Sasuke roar in his heart. Gaara's attack remained unabated. Seeing the moment he was about to come into contact with, a pliers suddenly appeared in front of him, then immediately cut off the spikes on the tail. Sasuke looked up immediately. It turns out that the owner of the pliers is someone he knows very well. He regards it as an eternal mountain that cannot be overcome. Uzumaki Naruto. But Sasuke is obviously a little confused. Pliers? Naruto? How do these two come together? Sasuke's mind couldn't help recalling the village's rumors about Naruto. Monster. But isn't it saying that Naruto is a demon fox? Your fox-long pliers? Sasuke didn't understand the situation for a while. "Hey, I'll kill you." And just then, Gaara roared again. Naruto, who was frantically moving his paws, rushed over. Naruto didn't even look back. He kicked Gaara away with a roundabout kick. Gaara is like a firecracker. One tree after another was broken. Seeing Gaara's miserable state, Sasuke swallowed. If you have nothing to do, find a place to hide. The next battle is beyond your control. Naruto glanced over. Afterwards, under Sasuke's gaze, he turned his Baltan pliers into hands again. Sasuke nodded, and he didn't resist. He couldn't look down on him now and wanted to catch up. For Naruto, this monster Sasuke has given up, and Gaara, who was kicked away, now a face, can no longer see the slightest human appearance. The facial features turned into civet cats. The expression on his face also hovered between anger and contortion. It was as if 2 consciousnesses in his body were robbing this body. "Ouch, kill you." 2 strange voices spit out from Gaara's mouth. Life is as sharp as a eunuch. Another life was Gaara's wrath. "Naruto, hit him hard and fly him. If you can't beat me, I'll lend you my strength right now." Nine Tails, who was scolding Kushina in the sealed space, suddenly roared upwards. For a while, even Kushina was a little confused. But Kushina immediately guessed that Nine Tails was speaking to her son. "Nine Tails, what happened to Naruto? Is there any danger?" "What about Minato? He is not by his son's side. Where is he going to die? If he goes out and doesn't protect his son, he puts his son in danger again." Kushina didn't know what to think of either. The expression on his face immediately became angry. He clenched his fists, wishing he could appear outside immediately, asking for flowers. "Don't worry, your son is very safe now." Cold sweat broke out on Nine Tails' forehead. Don't look at how he and Kushina are scolding now. But if they really wanted to fight, Nine Tails didn't have the courage. But Kushina didn't care. Minato went out and put his son into a dangerous fight. This makes her very angry. very serious consequences. Minato, who was paddling on the Chunin test site, shivered suddenly. Almost took off the mask. This made Minato a little confused. What happened? What is this inexplicable sixth sense of crisis? After hearing what Ninetales said, Naruto couldn't help becoming more motivated. Ninetales chakra mode, Not to mention anything else about this model. Handsome is a real teacher. The whole body is covered with golden light. Even use the power of Ninetales. Whether it is strength or handsomeness, they're all first class. Naruto couldn't wait any longer. Without further ado, he turned his gaze to the out-of-control pair Gaara. Defeating Gaara will not only give you new powers, there's still a lot of energy points waiting for him in the crayfish. Although his own strength has reached its peak in the current human world. But the next 4 battles started. Isn't Six Paths coming soon? Even to the point where Boruto biography Tsutsuki is flying all over the place. No, not even. After the Chunin exam, seems like a Tsutsuki fisherman. This force will travel through time and space. He deliberately ran over to deal with himself. I have to say it's a real dog, but I hope he will have the courage to come this time. In this case, I will teach him what cruelty is. Wind style. Practicing Kongyu. A sharp noise suddenly came out of Gaara's mouth. Then he let out a sigh of relief. It directly condensed into a wind bomb, hitting towards Naruto. Naruto snorted and kicked him back. The wind bomb hit Gaara directly in the face. Then Gaara closed his eyes. Straight into a coma. Naruto's face stiffened suddenly. Does this mean that one tail is coming out? Thinking of this, Naruto quickly became serious in his heart. Anyway, it's also a tailed beast. It has to be taken seriously. And at the same time, Gaara, who was in a coma, spit out sand one by one from the gore behind him. The sand quickly condenses and then expands. Soon a huge monster appeared in front of Naruto. A civet cat over 40 meters long. There are black lines on the yellow skin. A tail behind it is like a cactus. He flicked and flicked, looking very excited. My uncle is finally out. One tail roared crazily toward the sky. The voice was full of excitement and excitement. Well, let me see which little bug attacked me just now. After reacting, One Tail quickly looked left and right. In the end, he ignored Sasuke, who was injured and lying dead, and fixed his eyes on Naruto. It's you, kid, but why does it look so familiar? The breath on your body is really annoying. Shua muttered. Then, without saying a word, he directly opened the water to condense and practice empty ammunition. Naruto also silently raised his hand. In an instant, dark clouds appeared in the sky. Shoha immediately frowned. As a tailed beast that controls the sand, what he hates most is rain and water. The sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds. Is it going to rain? Shoha never imagined that the dark clouds in the sky were actually caused by this kid in front of him performing ninjutsu. Chapter 94, hold back, you. So Shoha raised his head and hit it with an empty bullet. Ninetales saw him mocking directly at Naruto's sealed space. Sure enough, it's the most trashy tailed beast, yet it still learns ninjutsu from humans. Ninetales' eyes were full of disdain. It looks very beating. Anyway, Kushina couldn't resist giving a punch, but Shoha's bombardment was terrible. The empty bullet hit the cloud. Chakra, which was condensing in the dark clouds, was directly exposed. Look at the chakra regiment that is comparable to yourself. Shoha was a little confused for a moment. Why are there so many chakras above the dark clouds? Smash it, smash it. Shoha was a little confused for a moment. Lightning style, Kylan. Naruto pointed to the sky and the ground with one hand. There is quite an aura of supremacy in heaven and earth. And with the voice of the Naruto, people just fell 630. The hand pointing to the sky suddenly communicated with the dark clouds in the sky. A glimmer of light connection. Naruto's hand swung down violently. Suddenly, a huge blue monster appeared from the dark clouds in the sky. This monster is made of thunder and lightning. Crackling, even bigger than Shikaku, with a wave of Naruto's hand. Purple-blue lightning-style Kylan. Roaring toward Shoha, bumped into it. Then there was a sharp sound at Shoha. Shoha's body crackled in the sea of thunder. Tongue sticks out. The body twitched unconsciously. And not far away under the light of thunder, Shikamaru and others who just rushed over. shocked by his distant, godlike presence. Naruto, pointing to the sky and the earth. I am the only one. Like the incarnation of Thor. Especially the lightning-style Kylan condensed in the sky. Wrap Naruto like a god. From a distance, Naruto looks like a god who sells rice. Anyway, looking at Shikamaru and the others, they were so shocked that they couldn't walk. Nine Tails in Naruto's belly was already smiling. Slap the ground. The appearance of taking pleasure in others' misfortune, Tion Fun deserves to be beaten. Damn, brat. Shua's sharp voice sounded. Then he opened his mouth directly in the sea of thunder. The black chakra condensed in his mouth. The shape gradually becomes spherical. Naruto frowned. This is obviously the unique skill that every tailed beast masters. A skill named Tailed Beast Bomb. The power is simply terrifying. The reason why the tail beast is called a weapon of war is because of its huge size in this move. Naruto hasn't drifted to the point where he can take the tailed beast bomb head on. Immediately, in a blink of an eye, he came in front of Shuha. Then under Sho's bewildered eyes, Naruto held up his hand. He choked his mouth hard. Shoha's bewildered eyes instantly panicked. The newly condensed tailed beast bomb couldn't be released for a while. It exploded directly in Shizuru's mouth. This bombing directly stunned Shoha. Then in full view, Shoha's mouth turned into a puddle of sand. Damn BD, I haven't played enough, Shoha shouted in a sharp voice. Then the eyes were closed, and the body shrank rapidly. Naruto has quick eyes and quick hands. Quickly took out a handful of kunai and bound a detonating talisman. Showed a difficult smile. Gaara, I'm really sorry for you. There are two tasks associated with Gaara. One is for Gaara, Nisenjo. Another is to tell Gaara the truth. The truth about his mother. The reward is the ability to manipulate gravity. However, after subduing the pocket, all the skills of the Baltan template have been unlocked. Naruto didn't care about the task reward. Touched his head. Naruto waved his hand. Gaara's comatose body floats automatically. Came in front of Naruto. Gaara's expression twisted at this moment. It looks very painful. Think about it. How can it not be painful? A sharp kunai is inserted into a vulnerable place. It hurts just thinking about it. Still, looking at the twisted Gaara hurts. Naruto's intimate, unleashed healing jutsu. And at this moment, brush. Shikamaru and others jumped beside Naruto. With a worried face, he looked at Naruto in surprise. Naruto, you just defeated that monster? Ino swallowed and looked at Naruto in surprise. You seem to have just met this classmate now. Has your strength always been this strong? Shikamaru's mouth twitched. Also skipping class and sleeping every day. Why Naruto and him are very different paths. Is it because Naruto skipped more classes than him? Now is not the time to say that. Konoha is still in crisis. Naruto rolled his eyes. He is now going to establish his own heroic personality. Don't start with these Konoha future patriarchs. Although it is not very useful. Naruto's defection was fixed. Makes sense. Hinata nodded. His eyes were full of admiration. This is the man I fancy. I have a really good vision. And at this time, on the prosperous streets of Muyi, suddenly several huge boa constrictors appeared. On the bodies of these snakes are Shin and Sand Shinobi who invaded Konoha one by one. Others didn't care about it and lamented Naruto's strength. He hurried back to Konoha. Small Sakura is carrying Sasuke. Sasuke is now seriously injured and can barely walk normally. And Naruto is pestering Gaara. Then tell Hinata to find a place to hide quietly. The next transformation of oneself, but killing Konoha in all directions. And just when other people rushed to Konoha to save him, Naruto deliberately slowed down, waiting for Gaara to wake up. Naruto's healing jutsu is still good. Plus he wields a massive chakra. Brutally used the quantity to prop up Gaara to 3.9. Even Gaara, who opened her eyes, couldn't feel the injury on her body anymore. Naruto-kun, what's wrong with me? Gaara looked at Naruto in a daze. After being kicked unconscious by Naruto, he had no idea what happened next. Look behind you. Naruto pouted. Gaara was lifted into the air with one last push. He looked at the jungle behind him. For a moment, Gaara hadn't reacted from Naruto, taking him into the air. He listened to Naruto's words in a daze. He turned his head and looked behind him. Then his legs gave way and almost fell to the ground. He is afraid of heights. I no longer have a strong fear of heights. When I see the picture behind me, only shock left. Chapter 95, Manipulating Gravity, is terrible. From a distance, it is in a green forest. Most of them turn black. More than half of the forest has been destroyed without knowing it. The black is the trace of being burned by high temperature. It's a battle swing. The range covered by this fluctuation has reached more than 10 kilometers. It was beyond Gaara's imagination. What the hell is going on here? Gaara looked at Naruto in shock. How about the result of the two of us? Not bad. Naruto raised an eyebrow. For the scene created by myself. Naruto himself is quite satisfied. Lightning style, Kylan worthy. As expected of an S-rank ninjutsu, coupled with his huge chakra and the berserk nature of the thunder attribute. This result is not surprising. Did I just turn into a monster again? Gaara's voice was a little low. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. I'm a monster just like you. Naruto patted Gaara on the shoulder. Then he looked deeply at the leaves below, especially seeing the snakes ravaging the streets of Konoha, and attacks and cries everywhere. Naruto's eyes became even more indifferent. Strange 21. Are you too? Gaara's eyes were bewildered. Yes, we're the same kind. Naruto nodded. Then stretch out your palm. An evil, gigantic chakra appeared. It's chakra from 9 tails. When seeing this chakra, Gaara's body shook. Although 9 tails and 1 tail have different power systems, but they both have that craziness of a tailed beast. Gaara's recognition of Naruto is getting stronger and stronger. Gaara, I know you. Only I know you in this world. So are you willing to stand by my side? Naruto looked at Gaara deeply. Gaara nodded slowly. In this world, only he and Naruto are true brothers. Well, let me tell you something that you never knew. Your mother has always loved you dearly. Naruto said firmly. If only there is no distorted emotion in this world, then only Gaara's maternal love. This feeling even beat the tailed beast, forced to control the power of the shrine to protect Gaara. Mazo Ninghu is not kidding. My mother has always loved me. Gaara looked puzzled. Your mother is all because of the village. He doesn't want to accept you, who was born as a weapon. He has been gestating sand with his own strength. Like now, Naruto suddenly swung his fist unprepared. It hit Gaara directly on the forehead. Gaara didn't even react. Looking at Naruto's fist hitting him, he seemed to see Shinigami waving to him. But at this moment, an inexplicable sand suddenly appeared and blocked in front of Naruto's fist. And it just so happened that Naruto's fist also stopped at this moment. This is your mother's love for you. This is not the power of Shuha, but the power of your mother. The guardian of the sand is your mother's protection. Naruto said meaningfully. Mother, Gaara murmured. He always thought he was hated and loathed by his mother. This is what Yashimaru said personally. But now Naruto tells him that his mother loves him the most. Suddenly, Gaara couldn't react. Come and save me. Come and save me. Help. Help. The strange snake is eating people. Where did Konoha's ninja die? Isn't it said that Konoha is the safest of the 5 great ninja villages? Woo! At this moment, the two of them walked into the leaves without knowing it. The screams and wailing of the residents of Konoha village came from my ears. But both Naruto and Gaara are as indifferent as ice. That damn brat. I knew he was unreliable. He became a ninja, and he didn't save us. You ungrateful guy. You shouldn't let this brat live until now. He stood with the sand shinobi intruders, and this guy really is an unfamiliar white-eyed wolf. And just then, the villagers of Konoha found Gaara and Naruto. Immediately yelled, especially seeing Naruto's expressionless and indifferent look. And the villagers who were wandering at the end of these people couldn't care less. He yelled like crazy, especially watching Naruto being left alone by them. Let these villagers resent even more. You are clearly a ninja, but why didn't you save us? Seeing that someone actually said Naruto, Gaara immediately turned her head and looked coldly at the villager who spoke. The majestic, murderous aura rushed towards these villagers like a mountain. Naruto paused, then reached out and held Gaara down. They insulted my friend. D. Gaara looked at Naruto with some stubbornness. A helpless smile appeared on Naruto's face. It can only be said that Gaara is worthy of being Naruto's licking dog. Just a few words of flickering, and it became like this. But Naruto wasn't actually stopping Gaara. Actually, I can do it myself. Saying that, Naruto waved his hand straight ahead. The place in front of it immediately began to collapse, like a mountain falling from above. Whether it's buildings, villagers, or intruders, under this inexplicable power, it turned into a puddle of meat directly. Even the shape of a person can no longer be seen at all. It's as if the area in front of you is being held down by a hydraulic press. Everything is falling apart. Naruto's face is indifferent to 190 poles. That's the power of gravity manipulation. Just now, Naruto directly used 100 times gravity. Whether it's the appearance of these villagers or their hearts, it's like feeling 10 cells pressing towards me. They can't breathe. In an instant, it has become a meat paste. Facing this kind of scumbag, I don't need you to take action for the time being. Just leave it to me. Naruto gave Gaara a meaningful look. Gaara was slightly taken aback, then nodded. Naruto-kun, what do you want to do most? Looking ahead is like a bee in a field of flowers, very leisurely. Gaara raised the doubts in her heart. At this moment, he was very confused and wanted to learn from Naruto's ideal. Me? Naruto pointed to himself. Then he showed a meaningful smile. What I want to do now is Hokage. Then defect. Thinking of that scene, this incident will instantly shock the entire ninja world. And by then, Yun will be the most embarrassing ninja village. The more Naruto thought about it, the more excited he became, wishing that this day would come sooner. Gaara wasn't saying anything, but a decision was made in his heart. If this is Naruto-kun's dream, then he can too become Kazekage and defect again. It looks like it's really interesting. Chapter 96, Impure World Reincarnation, and just when Naruto took Gaara to make trouble in Konoha. At this moment, the battle between Orochimaru, third generation, and Jiraiya is getting more intense. Under the cover of third generation, Jiraiya successfully entered Sage Mode. Orochimaru, who was playing against third generation, was suddenly forced. He was defeated steadily by the two people practicing their hands, especially third generation. One cage, one fire. The summoning beast demon turned into a stick and gave Orochimaru nowhere to hide. Plus ninjutsu, like laser Gatlin, and Jiraiya's toad, oil bomb. Orochimaru couldn't dodge at all, and could only bear the attacks of the two in silence. A hole was punched out of the triple Rashomon. Then, Orochimaru's mud flow wall was smashed by the third generation's water dragon bomb. And take advantage of this opportunity. When the time comes to play, you can also go backwards. But he said that the four purple flame formation setup has become a cage to imprison him. Orochimaru, you have no escape. Come back with me. Jiraiya took a step forward and tied herself in front of third generation. The pupils in Sage Mode are staring at the big snake. Jiraiya, it's too early to say that too. Orochimaru sneered. Then he immediately bit his own hand. Hit the ground. Summoning technique. 3 coffins appeared from the ground inexplicably. 1, 2, 4 engraved on it. This is... The well-informed Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately frowned. Related techniques flashed quickly in my mind. Suddenly, Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to think of something. Jiraiya roared insanely right away. Stop him quickly. This is forbidden technique. But what he said was still a bit late. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth turned upward. He spit out a few words lightly. Reanimation jutsu. Boom, boom, boom. 3 deafening bangs. The coffin immediately exploded. The violent and strong momentum permeated the entire field. For a moment, everyone who was fighting couldn't help but stop fighting. Together, they looked at the third generation above, and the 5 people around Orochimaru. That's it. First Hokage and second Hokage. Minato's pupils shrank. immediately recognized the two next to Orochimaru. This is something that every Konoha person will never forget. The last one is Sand Shinobi's fourth Kazekage. Rosa, Kakashi spat out the last person's name. The corners of his mouth twitched. How to fight this? You know, first Hokage is the god of ninjas. Second Hokage is a forbidden technique master. These two plus because. Third Hokage takes the lead. Although it is said in the books, third Hokage is the strongest Hokage in Konoha's history. But with that kind of words, you are fooling children. You let third generation slap to create a dead forest to try. Orochimaru, didn't expect you to complete this forbidden technique. Minato whispered. He used to be Hokage too. Of course he has read the ninjutsu in the Book of Seals, including his flying thunder god technique, which is actually on the Book of Seals. Among them, it is natural to see the dirt-turning technique that has not yet been successfully developed. But now it appears that Orochimaru has successfully put it to use. Etc. Impure world reincarnation? Minato seems to remember that Naruto also seems to have mastered this ninjutsu. Orochimaru, how dare you play with the souls of the dead? Sarutobi Hiruzen was furious immediately. The veins on the forehead are showing. Even Jiraiya couldn't help being surprised. It was the first time he saw his teacher so angry. Even though Orochimaru was doing human research, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression was nothing but disappointment. It's the first time I've seen Jiraiya so angry. However, is this anger really due to Orochimaru playing with the souls of the dead? Or is he afraid that what he did will fall into the ears of first generation and second Hokage? This is the situation now. I can't help but think about it naturally. And Orochimaru also thought of this question. He looked at third generation with a playful expression on his face. Where's this place? How do we get out here? Damn Orochimaru. 3 different voices were spoken by the 3 people who turned around from the dirt. Among them, Luo Sha is full of anger towards Orochimaru. Good guy. We agreed to let Konoha collapse together. Is this how you broke down? Kill your allies first. WQNMD. Brother, this seems to be Konoha. With only Senju Tobirama left, he looked around for a while. Among them, after seeing the Hokage rock, he told where he was. This is Konoha? Then you're a monkey? How did you become so old? Senju Hashirama, slightly taken aback. Then he looked in front of him in disbelief. So what the hell is going on here? But Senju Hashirama still doesn't understand the situation. He rubbed his head blankly. Don't you understand? Brother, we have been manipulated by someone to destroy Konoha. Senju Tobirama rolled his eyes. Then he turned his gaze to Orochimaru behind him. You guys are behind the scenes, right? Playing with the ninjutsu I created. He snorted coldly. Second generation's eyes were full of murderous intent. Jiraiya, be careful. These 2 are not weak. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the 2 seriously. As for the last Luo Sha, he had already selectively ignored it. I see. Jiraiya's heart is very heavy. How could he not understand the strength of first Hokage and second Hokage? What? Let me destroy Konoha. Senju Hashirama, who was still walking around, jumped up like a cat whose tail was stepped on after hearing what Senju Tobirama said. His eyes are full of murderous intent. Orochimaru was seen in a cold sweat. In the heart of Senju Hashirama, the Konoha created by himself is like his child. Now someone wants to destroy his child. How could this make him agree? Fortunately, the sacrifice Orochimaru used this time was not a good sacrifice. Otherwise, the money is good. You may not be able to control Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, but look at the 2 Hokages exposed. Orochimaru didn't dare to let the 2 Hokage talk, although he also really wanted to talk to the 2 Hokages, especially the recent rumors about the village. But late makes a difference, especially with a legendary second Hokage here, the master of the forbidden technique. You must know that more than half of the ninjutsu in the Book of Seals was invented by this person. Impure world reincarnation is just as bitter. What kind of clues are really going to be caught by this Hokage-sama? Remove the impure world reincarnation status. Even if Orochimaru had 8 lives, he wouldn't be enough. Therefore, Orochimaru did not hesitate to take out 3 kunai full of curse marks at this moment. It was stuffed into the heads of the 3 of them. With the insertion of kunai, the expressions of the 3 of them immediately became stunned, and Orochimaru's mouth turned up. Go 3, give a whole job to Sarutobi-sensei. Chapter 97 Baltan Naruto. Now, in the first generation, second generation, and fourth Kazekage that came out of impure world reincarnation, like a puppet under orders. His face was expressionless, but he chased after third generation at a very ferocious speed. Quickly seal while walking. Water style, waterfall technique. Wood style, the tree world comes. Sand escape, sand gold burial. The turbulent water flow, the ever-spreading branches, and rivers sand like grains of gold, facing fierce attacks like tides. Third generation's face immediately changed drastically. Quickly printed the soil flow wall. But it's of no use. Huge mountain-like soil flow wall. Not even the ninjutsu of the second generation can resist it. It was directly washed away by the rushing water and collapsed. Next up are wood style and sands. Third generation didn't even expect it, and their ninjutsu didn't have the slightest effect. Caught off guard, it was too late to defend. Seeing that the attack was about to rush to the face of third generation, a white hair suddenly appeared, formed a shield directly, helped the third generation hold back for a moment. Then the white hair shrank suddenly, pulled third generation backwards. And where the third generation was just now, it was directly blasted into pieces by the violent attack. As long as the third generation is still there, I'm afraid the current him can't even make up a complete corpse. 407 Jiraiya. Third generation turned his head to look at Jiraiya, who saved him, with a flash of gratitude in his eyes. My apprentice did not teach in vain, but I saved myself at a critical moment. Oomph. You can die, but you can't die now. Jiraiya snorted arrogantly. Then when he looked at the 5 people in front of him, his eyes were very serious. This is a tough fight. I'm not sure of victory. Even surviving is a luxury. The time for sage mode is coming to an end. A trace of worry flickered in Jiraiya's eyes. According to this rhythm, they're almost certain to lose. Few would have thought that Orochimaru would reanimate Jutsu. Orochimaru found an information gap. However, after the attack of the 3 just now, Jiraiya also had a rough guess in his heart. The strength of these 3 is not a period of complete victory. If it was the heyday, it is estimated that first generation would be able to slap itself to death. But despite this, the face of nature is still very bitter. If nothing else, just impure world reincarnation's body. Unkillable, chakra endless. How to fight this? Just consumption can consume 2 people to death. While Jiraiya was still analyzing how to deal with this situation. 3 Kage-level powerhouses plus Orochimaru, who keeps throwing snakes. The fierce attack has rushed towards Jiraiya and third generation. It was too late to think. In a hurry, Jiraiya and third generation could only choose a very reluctant counterattack. Simply put, it's a beating. Fighting alone, the 2 are not rivals. What's more, the opponent is still playing 2 against 1. At the same time, Naruto and Gaara have returned to where Chunin took the exam. I saw it at a glance. The chaos trapped in the 4 purple flame formations. And looking at the situation, third generation is clearly at a disadvantage. But Naruto didn't care. As long as Jiraiya is fine. Jiraiya's mission, he's done one by now. At least in your lifetime. Teach Jiraiya what it means to change faces. Brush. At this moment, Minato appeared in front of Naruto in an instant. Naruto, are you okay? Minato asked with some concern. Naruto shook his head naturally. Just hit a small guard crane, what can happen? Then what are you going to do in this situation? 17 Minato asked curiously. He has done almost nothing so far. Just like other Umbu, he watched third generation fall into a bitter struggle. Not to mention, there's an inexplicable excitement in my heart. If there is no accident, I may lose it next. Then, tell him the truth with your own hands and kill him. Cold words came out of Naruto's mouth. Especially when he heard the word kill, Minato couldn't help but tremble a bit. Are you going to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen? Kbei. Minato's expression was extremely shocked. Yes, he deserves it. Naruto nodded. Thanks to the two old men, Danzo and Sarutobi, for taking care of me these years. Now that Danzo has already gone down, it is time for him to send Sarutobi down. No, under the watchful eyes of everyone, let me do this. Minato shook his head. Don't worry, I won't reveal my identity. Naruto shook his head, then turned to look at Minato and Gaara. Next, please watch a big show. Naruto smiled. Then the body began to change. Under the shocked eyes of the two, Naruto directly turned into a black monster. Wearing black armor, eyes turned yellow. There seems to be a V-shaped helmet on the forehead, but the two of them could clearly tell that this was not the so-called armor and helmet at all. Still, a living body. In other words, Naruto changed from another form to a monster form. Especially for Minato, is this thing really my son? Or is this a hidden descendant of the Uzumaki clan? Why haven't I heard Kushina say it? Minato fell into deep thought. Sure enough, we are really the same kind. Look at the pliers in Naruto's hand. The corner of Gaara's mouth kept whispering. Naruto's position in his heart has already surpassed everyone else. And Naruto doesn't know this. He still has to find his dear third-generation grandpa to communicate. A body flicker technique came directly to the side of CZ Yin formation. With the advent of Naruto, all the Umbu became vigilant. Even the battle in CZ's formation froze. When Orochimaru saw the familiar pliers, he knew whether the monster in front of him was Hui. But he just took a cold look. With the help of 3 other Kage-level experts, he is no longer afraid of Naruto. Simply put, it's a little drifting. And for a while, there was no Orochimaru control. First Hokage and second Hokage were also a little confused for a while. Has Konoha changed so much over the years? Villagers turned into monsters? Or accepting new alien species? As for second Hokage, he has only one thought in his heart. That's research. There are not many such novel species. Maybe it can bring some inspiration to his ninjutsu development? Damn monster, you still dare to appear. What is your purpose? As for Sarutobi Hiruzen, for Naruto's appearance, he is only furious. Guilty rage. He was a little bit in the dark. If the things in my Hokage office leak out, I will die. An absolute stench 10,000 years. Chapter 98 Sarutobi. You don't want what you do to be known by others, do you? Mr. Sarutobi, why are you so excited? Also, you seem to be familiar with this thing. Jiraiya looked at her teacher suspiciously. The teacher seemed genuinely excited. Why? Moreover, among the people here, there are also reluctantly calm others were either panicked or terrified or simply shocked. Jiraiya has gained a lot of knowledge because of her travels outside these years. And isn't that a lobsterman? The toad can speak and become a fairy. It's not surprising that a lobster fairy appeared, right? Jiraiya muttered inwardly. You don't understand, this guy is a real monster. He could destroy Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression twisted, wishing he could crush Baltan, who was looking at him indifferently outside. Yes, I am a monster. Naruto nodded perfunctorily. But that's not wrong. The name monster has followed him for more than 10 years. Damn it, take him down. Sarutobi Hiruzen was furious and immediately directed the dark outside to attack. Yes, Umbu, who was outside, immediately obeyed Sarutobi Hiruzen's order. Surround Naruto immediately. I have been monitoring me for more than 10 years, and I should pay a little price to come back. Naruto whispered. From the beginning of consciousness, he has been living in the surveillance of his ministers. Did you know that peeping is illegal? You have violated my personal privacy. So, boom, Naruto stretches out his pincers, open in full view. Suddenly together. These Umbu still don't understand Naruto's movements for a while, but the sound that comes together with the potential, when it fell into their ears. Severe pain came from the eyes immediately. It was as if the voice just now had some magical power. This magic directly hit their eyes. Their eyeballs exploded directly. Blood rushes. The scene suddenly became tragic. All kinds of blood and screams. Damn BD. Why did you hurt Konoha's people? for Konoha's favorite first Hokage, Senju Hashirama. The villagers who saw Konoha were so tragic in front of him. The anger in my heart was like Mount Fuji erupting. Suddenly, it directly broke through Orochimaru's control. This is the benefit of a tendon. And compared to the Senju Hashirama with one tendon, Senju Tobirama is much calmer when he plays with his brain. From the very beginning, he understood the attitudes of both parties. This monster is the obvious enemy, not angry. However, it would be nice if these Umbu were replaced by people from the Uchiha clan. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Before asking this question, Master First Hokage, why don't you ask the monkey over there, what did you do to me? Naruto said words that no one could understand. There is an inexplicable shock wave around him, washing away all Umbu. Step by step towards the four purple flame formation. There was disdain in Orochimaru's eyes. What the heck? You still want to break through the four purple flame formations? Do you know? What is the four purple flame formation? This is the top enchantment in the ninja world. Even if 10 Kage-level powerhouses fight in it, it won't cause any damage. Brush. Uncle Snake, I'll leave Jiraiya to you. Let me have a good chat with these Hokages. Said me, a pair of pitch-black pincers tapped Orochimaru's shoulder. Orochimaru almost peed in shock. The sweat on his forehead was like pouring rain. Orochimaru didn't even realize how Naruto came behind him. He was obviously still outside the four purple flame formation just now. But why did he come behind me in the blink of an eye? What is happening? What Naruto said also made Orochi confirm his inner guess. This monster is really Uzumaki Naruto. For some reason, Orochimaru didn't refute for a while. The confidence brought to him by impure world reincarnation completely dissipated. Orochimaru didn't say anything and silently brought Luo Sha to Jiraiya. Just at this moment, Jiraiya's sage mode ends. The pervert smile on Orochimaru's face suddenly resurfaced. I was taken aback by Naruto. He was so angry that he couldn't release it. Asking for flowers. Just had this stock as a sandbag. New and old enemies together. Jiraiya has been chasing him like a mad dog for more than 10 years. But Orochimaru has never forgotten. Sometimes Orochimaru really wonders why this summoning beast is a toad and not a dog. Even a donkey will do. But Jiraiya's strength should not be underestimated. Orochimaru didn't fight with all his strength either. While controlling Luo Sha, he also needs to watch Jiraiya and pay attention to the situation on Naruto's side. It's okay if you don't pay attention. Both Hokage controls are gone. First Hokage is forcibly breaking free, and second Hokage is completely relying on the understanding of impure world reincarnation, and then lifted it. This also reminded Orochimaru that in his lifetime, he must study impure world reincarnation again. Control must be strengthened. But second Hokage, an old BD, still has a manipulative face. It seems that he still wants to engage in a sneak attack. Orochimaru pretended not to see it. Anyway, these two, as long as they don't come looking for me, it will be fine. Just fish with Jiraiya here. Unlike Orochimaru Jiraiya, the fishing atmosphere here is different. The atmosphere between Naruto and the three Hokages. It's like fire and water. Third Hokage, if you don't want what you have done to be known by the two Hokages, why not kneel in front of me and beg me? Naruto touched his chin with the pliers at this moment. Then he looked at third generation thoughtfully. After all, Lord Third Hokage, you don't want what you did to be discovered by First Hokage, right? Third Hokage's body began to tremble. I don't know whether to be angry or scared. Isn't this guy's subconscious meaning that he did something that he didn't want the two Hokages to know? Doesn't this just pique curiosity? And at the moment, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama were indeed aroused by what Naruto said. What exactly did Sarutobi do? And second generation rang at this time. It seems that when the monster in front of me appeared, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very excited. Could it be that this monster knows many secrets of Sarutobi? A lot of secrets that are not suitable for public disclosure.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.